everyone, and welcome to Halls of the Undermountain King. Thank you for joining us for an evening of D&D. I am Liz, and I will be your Dungeon Master tonight. We are thrilled to be streaming at twitch.tv/RollTogetherRPG. For those who are new to Dungeons & Dragons, everyone here plays fantasy characters in a fantasy universe. The 5 players each have their own unique character, with sheets that tell them who they are, what they can do, their deepest secrets, and, most importantly, what dice to roll. They will mostly be rolling this 20-sided die to see if they succeed in what they're trying to do. The higher the roll, the more likely the outcome will be in the roller's favour. 20 is good, 1 is pretty bad. We had loads of both last time. We were littered with 20s, which was amazing. We were also kind of littered with 1s, and it really did make such a difference. So while they play their characters, everything else in said fantasy universe is played by me. A pink flamingo, Aarakocra, shambling trash mounds, remnants of rain and cobbles, you name it. Between me describing the world and story, the players describing what they want to do, and some dice rolls to keep things unpredictable and interesting, we will tell our tale. My name is Liz. I use she, her, they, them. What I'm going to do is ask the players to introduce themselves with their pronouns, their characters and their characters' pronouns. And I think it might be quite cool to just find out how their character's feeling right now. So I'll start off with G.
Hello, I am G. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Lorcan, who also uses he, him pronouns. Lorcan is a wolf that used to be... the wolf used to be a beast companion, and Lorcan was in his own halfling body until they swapped under weird magical circumstances. So yes, now Lorcan is a wolf and has a halfling for a companion called Kato, who is also a he, him. And right now, is I think just quite glad we just fought some trash mounds and got covered in brown slime. I think was
sure.
Whatever, yeah. So yeah, was a bit put off by that, but was prestidigitated clean and is all right. And so yeah, he's just now a little concerned because we're off to the Yawning Portal to find out what's going down there. Yeah, he's just a little worried for his good friend that runs the pub.
Okay, thank you, Jay. And I will ask the same thing to Hannah.
Me? I'm Hannah.
Hello.
My pronouns are she, her, as are my character Varia's. Varia, or Varvara Scarredhide, is a Loxodon barbarian who is big and likes hitting things, and I think Varia's a bit... The day didn't start great with the rats in the house and the mug, and the day has not continued great vis-a-vis covered in trash. But I think Varia is like a woman of action and quite excited to know that a day that was shaping up to be a bit dull, apart from like small vermin, is turning into something where she can use her skills a bit more. She's excited to get to the person who needs help.
Awesome, thank you, Hannah. And with that, I'll move on to Rebecca. Please tell us.
Hello, I am Rebecca. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Ember, who also uses she, her pronouns. Ember is a fairy cleric, as you do, which means she's very, very small and has a very, very big maul, and that makes me very happy. I think right now Ember's feeling a bit guilty and a bit concerned because she's a very conscientious fairy, and she promised they'd be there as fast as we can, and then we stopped to fight some trash mounds. So she is keen to get done and solve all the problems and make everything better again.
That's beautiful. Thank you. John, could we find out a little bit about your character?
Hello, I'm John. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Heimlich Stratovarius, a human bard of the College of Spirits. who also uses he, him pronouns. And after the trash monster fight, Heimlich is quite, I wouldn't say aware of the fairies, because that would just mean he's hanging out with Ember, but he does get a little bit dreamy and distracted. So I imagine that the falling of the remnants of the trash monsters, he's quite taken by this, and he's just started in his head thinking like, oh, this is like a musical notation, and he's just started on his cuff writing something down.
Amazing. Literally on his cuff.
Literally on his cuff.
Beautiful. Thank you, John. And Pav, lastly, tell us about you, your character, and how they're feeling.
So I'm Pav. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Dusk, who also uses he, him pronouns. I feel like Dusk is like, it's been pretty, for a morning, it hasn't even been that long. It's been a pretty good day of punching so far. And also, I think just really reinforced like joy and like good decision making around the slippers, because they've come in handy and kept Dusk pretty good. So Dusk recently got some slippers of spider climbing and has been put into good use, and it's been very nice. So yeah, quite a good day so far for Dusk.
Plus, can we just talk about how awesome those slippers look?
They're great.
Yeah, they're pretty fabulous.
The pom-poms.
Yes. Okay, thank you everyone. This stream will run for 3 hours, and there will be roughly a 5 to 10 minute break somewhere in the middle. This is improvised, so it could happen anywhere, but we'll see. We're delighted to be sponsored by Hero Forge. Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop minis with dozens of fantasy races and thousands of parts to choose from. Their easy-to-use design tool lets you build your perfect mini online using a fully 3D, in-depth character creator right in your web browser. Hero Forge is constantly expanding the catalogue of customization options, so there's always something new to check out at heroforge.com. We are also delighted to be sponsored by Ultra Pro. Get your tabletop organised with character folios and dice bags. Ultra Pro is the leading manufacturer and supplier of sports and gaming collectibles, as well as other gaming accessories. Now, this is my favourite bit, because I get to show you an Ultra Pro gaming accessory that I have. I have named this, I've named him Gary. Gary the Gazer, I feel works. If you say it in a Dorset accent, it works even better. So you can head on over to Ultra Pro and find your own Gary and receive him. You can join us in Twitch chat today to win a gift voucher. Just say something and you'll be entered into a random draw. These can be given all over the world. Head to ultrapro.com, get a Gary. We are sponsored by the wonderful Elderwood Academy, who are the premium purveyors of bespoke gaming-themed gear, including hex chest dice boxes, spellbook deck box rolling trays disguised as bespoke ancient arcane tomes. Speaking of which, I have one. This is mine. It's fabulous. It opens, sort of. Within, you'll see dice can be held. They smell lovely. They do rolling box versions of these as well. They also do scroll and codex dice towers. I believe Chris has one of those. You may have seen them with the dice towers on streams. You can currently get 10% off your Elderwood purchase with the code ROLLTOGETHER at checkout. That's roll-together. Find out more at elderwoodacademy.com. We're also supported by D&D Beyond, your guide to digital D&D. And you should be able to see everyone's character sheets on the overlay on the left-hand side of the screen. D&D Beyond is awesome. So the thing that I find quite useful when I'm playing is it describes all your spells and it does your dice rolls for you. If you're on a PC, you can right-click on the dice roll and select advantage or disadvantage if you have it. It makes it so easy. I have hundreds of dice, but I quite enjoy using D&D Beyond because it makes it so easy for you. We're also sponsored by Level Up Dice. There is a link in chat for our Table Shakers range. Now, the Table Shakers are massive. They're not quite the size of oranges, but they're getting there. So don't drop them on your foot, but roll them on a table, and I guess it'll shake because they are so big. We are also supported by two lovely D&D video games, Idle Champions and Warriors of Waterdeep. You will see some codes at the bottom of the screen. You can type Idle Champions and Warriors of Waterdeep into Twitch chat for download links. They have exclamation points before them. And for Idle Champions, there's a code you can directly enter into the game, or type exclamation point code into Twitch chat for a gold chest. Whereas for Warriors of Waterdeep, type exclamation point wow gems into the Twitch chat for a link. You'll need to use that link on a mobile device where you have the game downloaded for free gems. We are Roll Together RPG on all socials. There will be links in chat. Do like, follow, subscribe. A massive thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon. You can find a link in chat. Help us make our shows from, it's just £1 or $1. You unlock more tiers by joining as well. Our shows are also available as podcasts. Just search Roll Together RPG on your favourite podcasting app and you will find us there. Finally, we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans and GNC positive, and we encourage and champion trans and GNC players and characters in our games. The DM and players may portray characters that are a different gender to their own. We aim to avoid misgendering, but acknowledge that it does happen and have a company policy in place for correcting people on pronouns. If we miss an instance of misgendering, we are open to being corrected, so please do let us know if you think one has been missed. And now, let's jump on in to the intro for Halls of the Undermountain King. See you soon. Okay, so we are back. What happened last time? I will tell you. You woke up to a bunch of giant poisonous rats in your kitchen. What a way to start. You dispose of them skillfully. I have a note that says Vaya and her mug, and I don't really think we need to say more than that. Dusk, you went to go find some cupcakes for yourself and for the group. You went to Bready Steady Bakery. Between you, you remembered that you had something to do that morning, and that was to go pick up a delivery at Eileen's Exotic Emporium. So you decided in the early morning to set off. On the way, you saw a bunch of kids playing in an alleyway, pretending to be villains and heroes. The market square was getting ready for a festival, the Festival of Shield Meat. It looked like an olden days fair with a jousting tourney in the centre. You met Eileen. Eileen was a bright pink Aarakocra. She was fabulous, and you each got items that you had placed on order. You spent some time in the shop attuning to these items as well. You went to the market square. Quite a bit of time had passed while you were in Eileen's, so by the time you exited, the market square was pretty full, and it was jam-packed full of commoners and just little villagers getting on with their day. Lorcan and Vaya made a scene, scaring commoners who fled in peril, screaming and shouting, is what I have written down. No guilt intended. A city watch guard, I'm going to call him Jeff, asked you to stop, and the rest of you carried on, leaving poor Jeff talking to the air as you just sort of left him telling you off. The way to the Yawning Portal Tavern, which is where you're going, is still pretty packed. So Dernan had sent you a message asking you to go, which is why you're going there in the first place. Dernan, of course, being the owner of this place, he seemed distressed. Ember, you picked up that message. You also remembered some good shortcuts. So although the place was rammed, you were able to kind of navigate through the back streets to get there. On the way, you encountered lots of rubbish and ended up fighting two sorts of shambling mounds, sort of. These creatures seemed evolved from mounds of rubbish and trash in the city. Heimlich offended one. Dusk accidentally was engulfed by one of the more putrid trash piles. Kato spider-monkeyed, flailing through the air. Eventually, both of those creatures were ended, and you notice posters lining the walls of missing adventurers who had gone down the Yawning Portal to the Undermountain, not come back. That's kind of a common occurrence, but there certainly seem more than usual of these posters. There was a rogue, a bard, and a paladin, from what you could tell. So we're going to pick up with you in that alley. The mounds of trash behind you, and before you at the Yawning Portal Tavern. What would you like to do?
I think we would just go inside. I think Larkin, what are you doing, I mean?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Ember, remind me what the message that you received was.
Dernan said that he was in trouble. All his customers were acting strangely, and he needed our help.
So, yes.
I think.
So Heimlich is just going to start playing a counter charm on his viol. Just a little, slightly, very pretty song, but just every so often there's a wrong note, and it's just going to keep on counter charming as we go in, just in case there's a charm effect in place as we go into this pub.
Okay, so that the counter charm resounds, and just before you get in outside the town, it's quieter than usual, although it makes sense given the festivities that are in the town at the minute, in the city. I know what I mean. The wooden door to the tavern is carved with imagery of barrels, tankards, swords, and merry drunk people, and it's kind of worn at the edges, and you push onto that. Heimlich is still playing this song as you do. You get to the door. You also see those posters again on the exterior of the tavern. Those prominent 3 are the freshest. They're on top of loads of other ones that have just faded through the time. The door opens, you enter the tavern. It's cooler on the inside, you're out of the sun. The familiar 3 stories of this huge tavern wrap around the lower tap room as you look up. There's a prominent feature, the huge well in the centre. There's those sturdy, thick wooden beams holding up the 2 mezzanine floors with 2 spiral staircases leading up to the other floors for access. Heimlich, that counter charm plays, although you don't notice any difference within. On the ceiling, you do see the winch that lowers adventurers down into the well is sort of jutting out from the top. I believe you would have used that the first time you went down, unless I believe Kato would perhaps have crawled down the side of the well.
Quite possibly.
This place is it's in stark contrast to the outside. It's surprisingly busy in here. So the pub is murmuring with tavern chitter, and there's a clatter of tankards and a laugh as you walk past the huge well in the centre. Looking to your left. Nope, looking to your right. Looking to your right in my imagination, you see the bar. On the bar, you see a used spell scroll, slightly singed at the edge, and you see there's a round water ring on it that's dried. And you see the back of your friend Dernan, a bar towel over his shoulder. He kneels down to collect something from the floor and puts it back up on the stand behind the bar. His back is still to you. There's another sort of clack of tankards, and the laughter resounds again.
Sorry.
Can I stealth over and grab the spell scroll?
Of course you can. Do you want to do a stealth check for me?
I can. That's a 17.
Okay. You kind of go unnoticed. You're quite short. The bar is quite tall. They do make steps for people who aren't as tall as the bars. And you lift up and reach the spell scroll, and you pull it down. It appears used. Make an Arcana check for me, please, Dusk.
That is an 8.
8. This spell scroll will totally work if you wish to use it again. With that 8, you know that this spell scroll has not been used. You'd be able to use it again. It's a sending scroll. You can use it right now if you want to.
I feel like, because my intention was probably to take it to John anyway.
Okay.
I think I will do that. I'm not a magic-y person, but I would definitely feel a sense of a renewed sense of self-esteem that I could use this scroll should I choose.
Yeah, totally.
But I'll try and sneak it back to John if I can.
Okay. I'll say with that roll for your stealth previously, you're able to get back to Heimlich.
Great. Heimlich, of course, yes. And then I will give Heimlich the scroll.
Danke, das ist. I will come up with some great compositions on this piece of paper later.
Yeah.
Heimlich, it's a used spell scroll and someone's put drinks on it and it's a bit mengy.
But any paper is useful in some way.
Correct. Slightly singed at the edges, but that could give you that artistic charm that you're after.
So just push it into one of my all the pockets are full of ink and paper, and I'll just shove it in one of those.
Amazing. What are the rest of you doing?
Lorcan is just observing the crowd. Since we were told that the customers were acting weird, can I see them? Do they seem to be acting weird?
Huh. Make a perception check for me.
That would be an 18.
18. Two things. The first, the people all around in this tap room. It's not noticeable at first, but you take a moment to people watch. Those mugs keep clacking together. The same laughter erupts. The mugs clack together, the laughter erupts, and it appears to be in a never-ending cycle. Your eyes drift to Dernan, who keeps bending down to pick something up and put something on the bar counter behind the bar. And then again, place something on the bar. The people in this tavern are stuck in this loop. Sorry, you were going to say?
Just can I see what he's putting on the bar?
Sure, with that check, you'd be able to see. He isn't putting anything on the bar. He has put a tankard down on the bar and then lifts to get another one. You see across the bar quite a few that have been picked up from the shelf below. But now he cannot pick up any more because he's picked all of them up and is just making the same movement over and over and over again.
Okay.
Ember will have gone straight to Dernan and just, hovered up to his shoulder and gone, we're here.
He does not register that you are there, Ember.
None?
Bends down, picks nothing up and puts nothing on the bar.
I will clonk him so gently with my maul.
Okay. Make an attack roll just to see.
Don't be a warner, I kill him, right?
I mean, don't give me ideas, but yeah.
18.
18, okay. So this maul, which relatively to you is quite big, does tap him on the shoulder. The rest of you watching in this space, you see Ember kind of flit across to Dern and do this action. You notice, the rest of you, that the entire of the bar goes silent. Ember, you watch Dernan's face turn to you, unblinking. Everyone in this bar, including Dernan, look to the sky and begin to scream. Ember, could you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Oh no, I'm a cleric. This might be okay. That was an 18 plus 7, so 25.
You are very lucky. As this happens, you get like a flash in your eyes. None of the rest of you do, just Ember. You wash away a feeling of encroaching darkness, a void-like sensation. Perhaps Areleth pushes that away as it starts to encroach on your heart. You snap sort of back to your senses, and as you do, you get a sensation that everything will be fine. And then the people in the bar return to their loop. Dernan again, bending down, picking nothing up, putting it on the bar.
What the fuck is going on?
The rest of you just witness people screaming.
Yeah.
Do I have a feeling that they are either charmed or frightened?
Ooh. Make an Arcana check for me, please. The face is telling me no.
Can it be a wisdom-based Arcana?
I mean, it could be, but it's not gonna be.
Is
It's
it?
not gonna be.
It's not bad. That was a 15.
15. Okay. These people do not seem. They don't seem afflicted by any sort of emotion.
Okay.
Neither do they seem afflicted by any spell.
Oh no.
This is an effect at best. It's not like an ongoing spell that's affecting them. It's just what's going on in this space. It's not something that could be dispelled, for example, because it's not a spell that's currently in work or anything.
Well, Ember's Twilight sphere thingy, if someone walks into it, it stops them being charmed or frightened. As in, but yeah, it doesn't need to be a spell, but do I get the feeling? Wouldn't work.
With that roll, you would surmise that you could, but it wouldn't do them any use.
Could I roll perception, please? To see if there's anything in a bar which shouldn't be in a bar.
Sure. I would say perhaps investigation for that, because you'd be actively looking for if it's an object that you're looking for.
Well, I'm just trying to detect the presence of something, because all these people look like normal people.
Yeah.
Whereas investigation, well, I mean, I don't mind, but I would prefer perception, just to be like the vibes, something
make
about the vibes.
Make a persuasion check to me. No, it's fine. Okay. Sure. Tell you what, make a perception check. That's fine.
Nat 20. I love
You're
this
starting
guy.
already. My God. Okay. All right. With that perception check, you look round. You look at all the individuals on all the mezzanines. You don't see anything untoward or different here. I will say with that check, as you're sort of pacing around, looking around, your eyes cast downwards, down the portal, down that huge well in the center. You can see some bar stools down there. That's the only difference. When you went down there last time, there were not any bar stools down there, but there are now.
Okay, everybody, looks like somebody's having a bar party down in the portal, because that's clever.
But I don't understand, because Dernan was clearly able to send us a message, and now you touch him, everyone screams. So something must have changed in between Dernan sending and now.
Anyone know if someone's possessed? Or well, possession is hard for... Oh, I don't know.
Possession at this level and this many people would be something very powerful.
As powerful as us, hey? And you see this like attempt at an elbow to dust.
Varia, could you make a performance check for me, please?
Aww.
Or persuasion, whichever you prefer.
No, whichever.
How tall is Varia?
Oh, I probably miss your head entirely. Okay, that's a 9.
Oh, you're trying. You're really trying. I would say your elbow just clocks Dusk slightly on the head as you make that little.
Sorry.
It doesn't hurt you,
Great,
but that
perfect.
happens.
I think Dusk would say to this, maybe we've been catfished.
No, it was definitely Dernan. Or maybe it wasn't. Oh no. Would people do that? That's so unkind.
No, there are a lot of unkind people around.
To use a cat to go fishing? I do not understand the reference. How do you do this catfish?
It's like when someone says, "Oh, I'm a cat," but really they're a fish.
Oh. Devil's
Surely you would be able to tell. I mean, what?
Just make an intelligence check for me. Someone who knows spells.
Just be flat intelligence.
Yes.
I got a 19.
Ooh.
I got a 14.
Okay. Between you, you know that the sending spell can only be cast with someone with whom you are familiar. So if you're being catfished, you're being catfished by someone familiar to you that does a damn good Dernan impression.
Knew there was something fishy about Eileen.
Trusted.
Do I see anyone else in the pub that I recognise or would know?
Make a history check.
That's bad. 4.
For hard to say. People change all the time. They get haircuts. They grow beards. Nah, you don't. I'm afraid. Not with that
if I'm
role.
busy and I'm sort of quite low, then it's difficult to see amongst.
There's a lot of familiar legs, I guess, but you don't see anyone specifically you'd know.
Heimlich, do you have that spell where you can talk to people in their heads?
I do not. It is not one of my talents, I'm afraid.
Mine neither.
If we find a dead person, I could speak to them, but
Yeah, me too. But that's less. I don't really want to kill. That's what we could do. I could kill Durnan. Heimlich could talk to him, and then I could bring him back to life again.
That seems a little extreme.
I mean, in a 20-second loop is quite an extreme situation.
Maybe he'd prefer it than being stuck in a loop the rest of his life. But then again,
I'm happy to hit somebody, but I think, honestly, I think downstairs, in the pit is maybe where we should be focusing our energy. He might want to piss at himself at some point, but better than being dead.
What?
Looking down the portal is like these bar stools. Are they like stood up as though they've been taken down intentionally, or does it look like they've been thrown down there?
It looks like they've been thrown down there.
Ooh.
And then it looks like the wall has eaten them. And when I say that, it's because they are sticking out of the wall at a weird angle.
Oh, like part way down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is not good.
We've been in this portal before, right?
You have.
Is it like when we say describing it as a portal? Like, is it like a membrane then you go through and then you're like transported, or is it just like essentially like a big hole?
It is a literal well. So the Yawning Portal is called the Yawning Portal, but what it refers to is this big well that goes all the way down to the bottom. From there, last time you lot were there, you went to the first 2 levels. So it's kind of familiar to you down there, but last time you were down there were no bar stools sticking out the walls. That's new. And Ember, you'll remember that Durnan said that he thinks the portal is to blame for the weirdness.
When I look up at this, when everyone screamed, they looked up at the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything on the ceiling?
Oh, make an investigation check for me.
10.
10. The rest of you watch as Ember takes about 15 minutes just looking at the ceiling, and you worry that perhaps Ember's just been under the influence of whatever these people were. But Ember, you don't spot anything. Even with that roll, you wouldn't be able to spot anything untoward on the ceiling that's there.
Could I please cast See Invisibility and then have a look around?
Of course you can.
It's
Cast
probably
away.
wasting a spell, but if I didn't, I would kick myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do a ritual, can I? No, I can't. I cast See Invisibility, and then I look all over the place again.
Okay.
Including down the hole.
Got you. Sure. You take a moment. You look around. You look down into the well, but nothing stands out to you. How long does that spell last, though?
That is a fantastic question.
Just wondering if it stays on for you. If there's anything.
An hour.
Oh, nice. Cool. It's not like a one-off wasted spell then. That's
And it's
good.
not even concentration. Fantastic.
Hey, awesome. All right. So nothing presently.
In the interest of using, once again, my slippers, can I walk up to the well and then just like walk until I'm like horizontal at the top of the well and have a look down?
Sure.
So,
Yeah. You are you staying near the top? Did you say? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You do that. You. Given the angle, it's kind of the same situation down there. You see the sandy floor that you're used to seeing. Perhaps at that angle, you'd see a couple more things like barrels sticking out of the walls slightly. But you just see the sides of the well from where you currently are. You can't see, down there is like a 20 by 20 space, which then leads to a corridor. You can't see into that from where you currently are.
okay.
Perhaps we should go and have a closer look at some of those things sticking out of the walls.
Probably.
Okie dokie.
I should know this. We've lived together for some time. Can we all see in the dark?
Not me, but I can light things.
Well,
I know you can.
Would you like me to do that thing that I've definitely done loads of times before, so I don't know why I'm explaining it now, where I can share my 300-foot dark vision with up to 4 willing creatures for an hour.
Yes.
That's such a good thing. Is that a Twilight Cleric thing?
That's a Twilight Cleric
That's
thing.
Amazing.
Wait,
It's
300 foot?
300 foot down.
Does that mean I can see further in the dark than I can in normal times?
That's unreal.
Araleth blesses you.
Thank you, Arla.
How long does that last?
An
Sorry.
hour, and I can only do it once per long rest. So, Liz, is it okay to just kind of say, while there are torches, I won't do it, and then do you mind starting the clock when it's dark, and I will have done that?
Of course. Yes,
Cool.
that's fine. Just as a little point, with all those perception checks, there was a natural 20 with those perception checks at some point. Although you're in a space where people are in a loop, you get the impression that what happened to them has happened, that it is no longer a threat. What I'm trying to get at, in total game terms, is that if you wanted to take a short rest at this point in time, you could. I'm just throwing that out there. It's your choice.
I
Also-
love taking a short rest when I can take a short rest.
I wouldn't say no to a short rest.
Yeah.
How far away is our house from the Yawning Portal?
It's hard to say because of all the festivities going on.
Okay.
Your house from the Yawning Portal should be a rough sort of 30-minute walk, but it was made a little longer by the fact that there were a lot of people everywhere.
But if you could run over buildings.
Well, I mean, I know splitting the party is splitting the party, but I did leave some very useful cupcakes at home that might be
did.
useful to bring with me. I don't need a short rest. So if we could permit that I can run home and come back in time without having any deadly encounters, who knows, that's the way of the world, then that would be great.
Okay, all right, dusk. You open the door and you wave goodbye to your friends and companions and you die instantly. No, you don't do that. You walk out of the door. Dusk is gone for a brief moment in time. Dusk, you're not sure what just happened, but you find yourself coming up the stairs behind the bar. You're next to Dernan right now.
Oh no.
Dusk, I thought you were going back to the house.
It's very fast.
I went out the door and then now I'm here. I'm confused.
Oh, good. So we can't leave, so we have to go down portal.
Sounds about right.
Oh, sorry about your cupcakes.
All right, I'll save them for another time.
You might find some more. If you would like...
Says a voice in the...
Yes, says God.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and process that short rest if you wish
Cool.
to, everyone. Get some of that HP back. You can't get spells back with that, can you? Unless you're a wizard. But you get key points and all sorts.
I think clerics can now if they use channel divinity.
Kidding.
Yeah, it's a Tasha's thing. I don't know if you've chosen to enable those. You can burn. I'm just playing cleric in another game. You can burn a channel divinity to get a second level spell back.
Yes, you can.
Ooh.
It's there
You
on
can
my
only
features
do
and
that every
traits.
long rest, so you can't just keep because you get channel divinities back on a short rest. You just can't keep popping it. It is handy.
That's interesting.
So you have completed your short rest. It's been a bit of a weird one because you've been welcomed by the constant sound of a repeating chatter and a clack of tankards and a laugh over and over and over again. What would you like to do?
Head towards the. You said there was like a winch thing. Is there like a, I don't know, like a big bucket or whatever it's called?
Yeah, there's the bottom half of a barrel's been chopped off and attached with bits of rope. You'd be able to, between you, I guess one of you would be able to stay up top and lever each other down and then fly down later. So would you like to do that?
Yes.
I'm happy to stay up top and come down last, what with, the wings.
Am I alright just to walk along the...
Yeah, you can do whatever you like. You don't have to go a la bucket. Heimlich, sorry.
Before we just go down, Heimlich will have a little moment with his spirit board, and I'm just going to learn a new tale of the spirits because I've done a short rest. It's the same one. Great. I know what
Cool.
I'm doing. So we're going down this thing again. Let us go.
Yeah, I get in the basket, or barrel, rather, or Larkin does, and seeing Dusk about to walk down the wall and Kato is about to climb, I just go, Kato, perhaps, Kato, get in the barrel. Dusk, maybe if there's... I don't know what's going on with the walls down there, but maybe being in the barrel might be a safer option. What with things being sticking out of the wall.
In which case, Dusk will go up to the barrel and then go underneath the barrel.
Oh, nice.
With his feet on the bottom of the barrel, and then head at the bottom.
Okay, all right.
And yeah.
Amazing. That's beautiful. I can see it. Amber, could you roll for me a strength check, please, just to see how gentle their journey is going to be?
8.
Oh, okay. So Dusk, the bottom arrives much quicker than you'd expect. And then perhaps you're just looking around and enjoying the scenery as the rope just sort of slips through your hand.
I'm still looking for whatever creepy thing I know is on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there's nothing invisible up there. What is it? As this bucket descends rapidly, and Dusk, with your spider shoes, with your shoes of spider climbing, you kind of very quickly get to the top side of the bucket before the bottom hits the ground. Ember, I guess you then make your way down, gently, steadily, having a lovely time.
To land on Dusk's head, please. Gently.
Thank you, Amber.
Once you'd all gone, I sort of thought they all might start screaming again. I think I maybe panicked a little. I'm sorry.
No problem. We're down here is what matters.
So you take your first steps since last time you were down here. You get a kind of rush of adrenaline, remembering perhaps the foes you faced last time and conquered and all that money that you got last time. The sandy pit is there at the bottom of the well, and your feet hit the ground, though where your feet should feel firm, solid sand, you get a very odd sensation. Pliable, viscous. The floor feels like Dusk. You would know what this is. Feels like custard.
Does anyone know what's going on with this ground?
No?
That's cool.
Can I roll, I don't know, survival, investigation? Or
Ooh.
what do you want me to roll for custard?
Roll for custard. Let's go with survival. How about that?
No, I know nothing. Wait, hold on, I have advantage. Yay, I know one thing. I know 14.
Oh. You've seen Dusk eat these things, right? And they're kind of apparently they're deep fried. And what the people, that guy at Bready Steady, he puts within it custard.
Mm.
You are standing on a surface which is like custard. The viscosity, the feeling, spot on.
Does the rest of the ground look like, is it a donut?
Yes, it is. No, it looks like it always did. It looks like sand. But looking round though, Vaya, you expect a familiar place, having been here before.
Yeah.
What you get instead is absolute oddness. If you imagine the architecture of the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, that kind of melted candle architecture, it's got that vibe. The stone of the walls look like they were smooth once, but now have melted into each other. You see more of these bar stools, tankards, barrels kind of half consumed by the walls. The only familiar thing here in this 20 by 20 space is the archway that leads out into the sort of corridor that you're used to. Although each one of the stones that make this arch are kind of twisted on a strange axis.
Is Is the custard isn't like a problem in the sense that like we're getting sucked into it or anything? It's just like a side ride.
It just feels weird. You move with a gloopy shuffle, not a walk. It doesn't impede your movement. It just feels odd.
I would like to test the limits of my slippers by trying to stand horizontally on Varia's back.
Okay.
Varia, do you allow this?
Sure. Yeah. I think in this particular like outpost of Varia's adventuring, like people are climbing on her a lot, and it's just if it gets the job done.
You'll have to just remind me of the specific rules for the slippers, Pav. But I think is it specifically walls or any surface? If it's any surface, you're able to do it.
So it says, while you wear the light shoes, you can move up, down, and across vertical surfaces, upside down along the surface. Yeah. However, the slippers don't allow you to move on this way on a slippery surface such as one covered in ice or oil. That's the only stipulation.
Varia, are you covered in oil?
Not that I'm aware of.
You never know.
You're not greased up.
Oh no.
Not that kind of campaign.
Things can
Let's
turn
go.
quickly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yes, Dusk, you are able to stand on Varia at that angle.
Cool, lovely.
Larkin would be having a kind of a sniff around and trying to work out, like, well, first of all, like this, it looks like sand, but like, are we leaving footprints in the same way as we would on sand? And also, as a survival check, I guess, like, who's been down here? What's been around?
Got you. Go for that survival check, and we'll see what happens.
17.
17, nice. The floor looks pristine. You're not leaving footprints. Although it feels like you are.
Okay.
So you don't see any sign of anyone else having been down here because the floor looks like the sandy floor where no one has moved on it.
Do I catch a scent of anyone as a wolf?
You do not.
Okay.
You don't. Actually, you feel you smell furnishings, which is weird because you didn't smell furnishings last time you were down here. The smell of furnishings comes from beyond the corridor that leads away from this space.
Just for my benefit, what do you mean by furnishings? Like sofas or like cushions and blankets? Fabric.
Yeah, fabric.
Does anyone remember last time we were here seeing bedding or blankets or anything? I think I'd be moving towards the archway because there's no other way out of this area, is there?
There is not. So yeah, none of you remember that smell from last time.
Maybe bandits and goblins, no? I'm not very big on soft furnishings, so I'm aware. I'm going to start ritually casting Detect Magic. So hopefully that will kick in the next 10 minutes if we don't encounter something. I'm just going to start plucking the fattest string of the vial, just sending out these echoes and hoping stuff will reverberate.
Okay. So in this space, currently nothing, Heimlich, but I'll give you a shout if later
It will kick in 10 minutes, so I got nothing yet.
And I take the bar stools that are in the wall. Is the wall also custody?
How would you like to check that?
Grabbing
I was going to ask if you were going to lick the wall. That's the only reason why.
No.
The wall is... Yeah, it does not budge from the wall. You touch the wall, it is stone. It feels smooth in places where it looks like it's melted, but the stone is there.
Okay. Well, I was going to put the bar stools back in the barrel to send them back up.
Oh.
There's no point. Okay. In which case, well, looks like we go through and then gestures at the archway.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you proceed. You get into the corridor. at that point, the floor does not feel like custard anymore. It feels like a stone floor, and that's how it looks. And you're all kind of reassured by this.
Sorry, I would be going towards the smell of said furnishings.
Got you, yeah. I'll put you at the front then, Lorcan. Yeah?
Sure.
So Lorcan at the front, following your snoot. You continue over not custard, which is nice. As you do, you hear an eerie sound, and it gets louder as you proceed. In addition, this tunnel appears to sort of corkscrew as you continue forwards, and it's hard to tell whether the corridor is corkscrewing or you are physically moving yourselves. It's an odd experience. Can I get perception checks, please, from everybody?
Well,
21.
21.
12.
22.
Amazing. You're all able to hear this. It's a string quartet. You can hear audibly a string quartet as you proceed through this corkscrewing tunnel. The piece would be uplifting, but the echo is causing those last notes to just veer flat. And the context of where you currently are in this Undermountain does put an eerie spin on it as well. It crescendos as you continue forwards, and Lorcan at the front, snoot down to the floor. You notice that it looks like someone has, with a needle and thread, with red stitching, stitched through the stone. And as you continue, this stitching clumps towards the sides of the walls. You kind of still have to move around furniture and stuff. Yes, Fire?
Varia is going to, with just the tip of the beautiful double-bladed axe, just just pop out one of the stitches as she goes by.
Okay. It pops free.
Okay, there was just a sort of idle. Pardon?
It goes from this to two little strands of string popping out the floor.
Okay, cool. That's all I wanted to do.
It's all right.
Hearing this music kick in, I'm going to drop the ritual cast and start playing a counter charm, which I'm just going to repeat until I know this isn't dodgy. I'm just going to slightly harmonise, but not with this music. Just so it's not magic shit. Or until we find out that it is.
Make a performance check for me, please, Heimlich. Let's see how beautiful or not this sounds.
That was a natural 20 for a 30.
Wow. Nice. You make this creepy piece of music sound quite joyous and of springtime. It's nice. It's nice now. Just remind me what counter charm does again. Sorry, I think I've asked that before.
So it's an action, but it doesn't take anything, so I can just repeat it as an action and use it as my action. Anyone within 30 foot of me who can hear me gets a bonus save on being charmed, frightened, or another one. Just frightened or charmed. So they get advantage on saving throws.
Awesome. Good to know. Cool. All right. So Lorcan at the front. There's now beautiful music. It's no longer eerie. You reach a room that stretches 50 foot across. There is now red carpet. Where that stitching began and then began to clump, it now stretches as a red carpet 50 foot down this room. There are short brass posts and red velvet rope, which is the source of that smell. That velvet rope kind of linked either side of this carpet. You see quite a few massive golden framed portraits on the painted walls of this opulent room, which is weird because this room was not here before. All of you can hear this string quartet. It's very loud here, but it seems to be coming from nowhere and everywhere all at the same time. The portraits, there are 5, and there is a portrait in each frame, these huge golden frames. One detail immediately visible to all of you as you kind of step into this weird room. In each frame, someone has fixed upon the eyes of the people in the portraits hollow glass pellets with a loose ball bearing in the center. Essentially the D&D version of googly eyes placed over the eyes of these people. There are 5 portraits. The subjects of each, at first glance, seem quite noble in stature. But then you see their appearance. The first, we'll say to the right, there is a robed goblin, tastefully depicted. She has a wide grin underneath a powdered wig, and she's got a beauty spot on her face. She kind of touches her face delicately, looking into the distance, and you see on her ear a single teardrop earring sort of dangles from her ear. It looks nice, but the googly eyes distort what you're seeing. Next to that one, there's like the shock of white hair, a proud stance, back straight, cheekbones high. Beauty is contrasted by the severity of this drow's stance. She's got armor on, and that you can see the tip of a lance as she kind of stands for this portrait. On the other side, there's some more portraits. There's one depicting a fearsome bugbear, a matted handlebar moustache. This isn't just a portrait, it's like a Henry VIII kind of picture. That kind of wide stance is there. He's adorned in furs and is holding a spiked chain in one of his hands. Next to him, a pastoral scene. Can I get a history check from someone, please?
No.
17.
3.
Ooh,
Hey.
okay. We'll go with that 17. Ember, you recognise the person in this frame. Person in this frame, well, it's a pastoral scene. One of the missing adventurers, Agatha Mantlebrim. She's loving her life upon a swing. She's dressed in a peach voluminous dress. Her petticoats are billowing beneath a flat-brimmed summer's bonnet. She's got one slipper flying off the swing as she's mid-swing. Next to her is Terry Greatshoe, one of the missing adventurers. He's painted wearing a white bonnet and a ruff around his neck. He's got a doublet on, and he's got a mass of grey curls erratically spread around his face and one eyebrow raised.
Heimlich, you're better at creepy things than I am.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
What are the odds that the missing people are in the pictures?
Well, that does look a lot like Terry. I have played with him on occasion on the at the dance hall. Yeah, it's very good likeness.
They all have googly eyes on, just to point out, but yes.
If he's in the painting, then it will be a good likeness, I suppose.
Do we remove the googly eyes just to check?
Is your magic thing pinging?
I stopped it because of this disturbing music. I will let me cast. I will.
Where is the disturbing music coming from? Sorry.
It seems to come from everywhere.
Everywhere and nowhere.
I'm gonna cast it instantly as a spell. Detect magic. Is there any magic around?
You cast a spell? There is no magic around.
It's not esoteric in its nature. With your invisible eyes from before, can you see anything?
Can I see anything?
No, you do not see anything. I will just do a little addition, an addendum, if you will, to your detect magic. Nothing specifically is glowing. I guess detect magic does kind of make a glowing kind of ping, doesn't it? It kind of outlines.
It's like stuff has an aura.
The object or the sort of subject of a spell. What you do get instead is not a heavy glow, more of kind of a subdued yellow everywhere, like a wave lapping on an ocean. So there is an effect sort of everywhere, but it's dissipated. Like a spell that's finished.
And sorry to ask this because it's always a terrible thing to ask a DM, but is that to any particular school of magic? As detect magic would help me. Doesn't matter if it's not. Sometimes effects are beyond the school.
It's not really a specific school of magic.
So there was a big magic here. I do not know how long ago, but it is still the echo is everywhere. It is around all of us, but it is not in these pictures specifically.
I'm going to try and take a googly eye off.
Ooh, okay. Valia, you adopt the stance. Any specific portrait you'd like to remove the googly eye from?
Not the bugbear, because big.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the smallest of the people who went missing who's now in a portrait? The
Oh,
goblin, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, the specific people that went missing were the last two. So there is Agatha Mantlebrim and Terry Greatshoe. Agatha was the one on the swing. Terry Greatshoe was just like a portrait.
Is there
looking
no
outwards.
sign of Betsy?
Not here, no. No, you don't see Betsy within these portraits. Oh, I said photos then. They're not photos, they're portraits. Within these little snaps.
Yeah, let's go for the swing, because I love some Fragonard, and why not?
I'm glad you got the reference. Okay, so Via, you adopt the stance. You step over the VIP kind of barrier, if you will. Nothing happens. You extend your hand to the portrait and receive in your relatively large hand a tiny googly eye. Nothing seems to happen as a result of that.
I take off the other googly eye.
You snatch the other one away and are a proud owner of 2 googly eyes.
Great. Can I poke the painting?
You can do whatever you like. Yeah, sure. Do you want to roll to hit? Well, how are you poking said painting?
Just gently.
Okay.
Not with my trunk, mind. With my hand.
Okay. You don't need to roll to hit. You delicately place your hand upon the painting, and you can feel the brushstrokes. Someone has painted this.
I can maybe.
Can I look behind them? Basically, should I just roll investigation to see what I can glean?
I was
from
about
this
to say
painting?
I'd like to investigate one of this
Okay,
painting probably.
Both of you. Okay, we'll go via roll with advantage with the assistance from Lorcan of investigating the portrait.
That is a 14, a 15 minus 1.
Nice. Okay, and that was at advantage, right?
Yeah!
Cool. Okay. Yes. You push the portrait to the side, the golden frame in your hand, and there's a wall behind it, and you take it off the wall, and the wall is still behind it. You have in your hands a relatively big portrait of Agatha Mantlebrim within your hands, but yeah, we can say you do that for all of the portraits if you wish. You do not reveal any hidden corridor. Someone has placed these delicately after painting them in quite a well painted hand.
In terms of the painting itself, like, how old does it seem? Like, how recently would it have been painted? I'm trying to work out what kind of check we'd use for that. I can stick with that original investigation. I'll say you are sniffing it with your nose. Via, you can physically feel it. It looks old. It definitely looks old, like old, but the paint still moves like oil paint does. It never really dries. But this is quite recent paint. Definitely no more than a year. Potentially no more than a month.
I take them out the frame, roll up all of the paintings and pop them in my... Well, does anyone have a backpack? Because I've only got a sort of fanny pack type thing. Oh wait, no, did I bring my backpack with me today?
If they're oil paintings, will it smush?
Depends how recently painted. If it's a month, I would hope it wouldn't be too heavy in pasto.
The exhibition is quite nice now, is it not? Hung well. Should we leave these and see if the solution is further in?
I think if there's a chance that the people are somehow in these paintings, leaving them here is a bad idea. I think we should, if there's a potential that they are in these canvases, we should take them with us, rather than leave them in this bizarre...
If we're walking into trouble, then we'll be walking into trouble holding lots of heavy paintings that we may then use as shield.
No, I've taken them out of frames. No longer in the frames.
I love that Via's on the rob. I can envisage these in the house. This is really why Via wants these.
No, that's a bit... It's like, it would be weird. It would be like blowing up a picture from somebody on a milk carton. I don't think...
If we find them, though.
then maybe I'll hang it up, but only if I find.
Understood. Those morals are beautiful. Okay. Cool. So Fire goes on the rob and begins to just roll up these, not too tightly, not to sort of scrunch them up, but you would be able to place those in a backpack and not crumple them too much. But yeah, this room stretches out 50 foot before you. The carpet does lead to quite a big door. It's like 20 foot high. Vaya, you're in for the win.
No docking.
It's carved in great detail, depicting a castle with knights on horseback. Ember, specifically you, no pressure. Could you make a wisdom perception check for me, actually, a perception check?
16.
16. The air is heavy here. It's odd. It feels thick. Your connection to Araleth is always there. Obviously, it's always there. It feels slightly dampened, and it won't affect any of your abilities, but it feels like something is oppressing all of you invisibly. You can't quite place your finger on it, but there's a weird atmosphere down here.
I have a quick Araleth.
Yes.
Good. Hi.
Yes.
What's happening?
There are many voices down here.
If it's making you not feel very well to be here, you should go.
I am always with you. I'm fine. I will be with you. You will be able to do what you always do, of course. I'll just have to speak loudly. There's a lot going on.
Any hints? Because from our end, it's just creepy.
That's correct. Araleth seems kind of creeped out too, but is strong with you. Like, he's not going to leave you anytime soon. He will always be with you, but if you need to talk to him, he might just have to shout over the crowds. You get the impression that there are so many voices down here, the air is thick with it. You're quite sensitive to that kind of vibe, you see. That's why I went for you.
It's very holy.
Totally holy. But yeah, that's the kind of vibe that you get. Sorry, Hamlet.
Can I ask, is that an internal dialogue you have with Araleth, or would we hear half of that conversation?
Probably internal, but I think by this point Ember has a particular expression on her face when she's chatting to Araleth, so you would notice.
Could we see what that facial expression is?
Oh.
Amazing.
Araleth says that there's a lot of voices down here. I can't hear any voices, can you? I mean, Araleth's obviously, but he's normal.
As someone who hears a lot of voices all the time, what's my take on that?
Just tell us about the voices that you do hear, Heimlich.
So Heimlich is shadow touched. So he is a bard of the College of Spirit. So he just talks with dead people a lot. Sometimes chatting, sometimes getting recipes. Just, there's a constant dialogue, getting new lyrics. But I just wondered, is he getting the same level of feedback?
The interesting word there is feedback. So when Heimlich hears a voice, you're able to pluck them out. In a way that you pluck the strings of an instrument, you're able to pinpoint one. You kind of wait to tune in to do that same kind of thing, but it's like you're plucking through mud. Like there's nothing specific there, but there's everything all at the same time. It's thick, it's heavy, you can feel it, but there's nothing specific in the air that you'd be able to get.
Can we still hear, is the music still playing, like eerie strings? Is that still going?
Yeah, the music is still going. It's blasting actually at this point with you in this space.
If there's any voices, I can't hear it over this music.
Do. Yeah, very that.
Should we keep going?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, Larkin just starts heading towards the big door.
Amazing.
If Lorcan's taking the lead, I'm just going to throw guidance at him.
Cool.
Should I need it?
All right. I guess the rest of you follow Lorcan first. Lorcan, you walk towards the door, and you're walking, and the door is not getting any closer to you. You try and go faster, and the door seems to get further away. And the same for all of you as well.
Looking behind me, do we seem to be getting further into the room? Like, are we getting further away from the door we came in, at least?
You are not. You are. You've got a slight bit further, but not as far as you'd want, given the amount.
We're walking on carpet.
Correct.
I step off the carpet.
Okay.
Does that make a difference?
So you step off the carpet, begin to walk. The rest of you still walking. You notice that Vaya is making a beeline towards that door. She's going for it.
Yeah, I also go off the carpet.
Fly not over the carpet.
Yeah, I was just going to say, anyone who's walking on a ceiling or a wall, the ceiling you wouldn't get very far, the walls you'd be okay. All right, so yeah, you're able to reach the door at the end. Good work, Vaya. Yes.
Sorry, can I peel back the carpet, see what's on the underside?
Ooh, I love how investigative Vaya is. It's amazing. Oh, okay.
You know,
okay.
It's not like she can do magic, so the practical, like, maybe this carpet is not a carpet.
It's evil. Yeah, so you reach down, having reached the end before anybody else, and begin to peel it back, and it does start to move after a bit of a tug. You do hear the threads ripping slightly as you tease it away from the floor. Dust kind of gathers in the air as you peel it back to reveal the floor, Vaya. There's nothing underneath other than the floor.
Cuts off a little bit of carpet.
Amazing. How do you cut it off?
Just like, I've got 2 hand axes, so just one of the little hand axes and using that.
Beautiful. Oh, that's nice. I like it. All right. So the rest of you watch as Vaya takes a little sample for later.
Nice colored carpet. Maybe we get carpet.
I think having known Vaya for a long time, Larkin's just like, yeah, okay, this is pretty standard.
Does Vaya do this in every house?
if she can get away with it, yeah, probably.
Cool. One day she's going to retire and do interior decorating.
Amazing. All right, so you get to the other side where the door is. The door is currently shut. It does have all that imagery on that I explained earlier. Who's first? Who's going through?
I think I'd like to, if the music's not too sort of deafening, I'd actually, regardless of the level of music, I'd put an ear to the door and see if I can hear anything through it.
Make a perception check for me.
God damn it. 12.
Still, that's quite... Oh.
Wait, my guidance. Oh. 13.
Amazing. God bless guidance. Nothing through this door. Silence. Okay. Although it's hard. You have a lot going on this ear, and then this ear, there's nothing. Yeah. But yeah, there's no prominent sound coming from the other room.
Cool. Unless anyone else seems to be going to open the door, I would give Kato a bit of a nod to open it.
Okay. Is there anything magical about the door? If I'm still in 10 minutes of detect magic.
No, not as such. How? What? With detect magic,
contained lightning bolt spell, anything like that.
It doesn't seem trapped, for example. Okay. But could I just ask, John, with detect magic, how far does that penetrate? Is it like a lead situation?
The surface of the door. I don't think you can see through the door.
Understood.
I think in my head, you can just see items as they are, and it just tells you if they're magic. You can't see through a wall and there's a magic
Through an
item.
item. Okay.
I
I'm just asking.
Otherwise, it's really
Yeah. But no, there's nothing on the door that is glowing. So Kato opens the door, and as that happens, the door opens and the string quartet diminishes and is replaced with the sound of a huge crowd. The door that Kato has opened, from your perspectives now, behind Kato, you see a vast space. Heimlich, as you move through the door, you do spot some sort of magical vibes, but I'll come back to that in a second. You're all stood at the top of a flight of stone stairs that descend 30 foot into an enormous space. They lead down to a sand pit, hopefully not made of custard, at the bottom, 60 foot in diameter. In addition to the flight of stairs on which you stand that are 15 foot wide, they go downwards. There are 3 identical staircases within this massive space. One to your right, 90 degrees, one to your left, 90 degrees, and one straight ahead. So in a circle, they all lead down to this central space. At the top of each staircase is a door, almost identical to the one that you've just walked through. Each door, including the one behind you, has above it a stone arch around it, and a keystone is embedded, and each gemstone glows a different color. And Heimlich, that is what you're picking up with your buzzy little detect magic. The doorway behind you glows blue. The doorway to the right glows red. The gem above the doorway to the left glows yellow. And on the opposite side, the doorway at the top of the stairs, there is no glow. There is a gem, but it is not glowing. The gem looks green, but no light shines forth. Within the sandy pit, at the base of each stairs, slightly away from the base, there's a raised wedge-shaped plinth, about 10 foot high. You see a corresponding gemstone embedded in the plinth. So a blue one at the bottom of your stairs, a red one at the bottom of the stairs to the right, a yellow one to the stairs to the left. And where you would expect a green emerald to be in the plinth furthest away from you, there is not one. The plinths themselves are coloured the same colour as the gemstone, which is embedded within it. That is what is in this room. I'm going to tell you what is not in this room. What is not in this room? So, the space at the edge of the pit and between these 4 staircases holds literally nothing. There is a thick void of nothing. There is a present absence. And those of you stood on this stairway looking to your left and right where there is nothing, you see a wispy void-like tendril kind of licking at the air by your feet. Who had the high passive perception? That was Lorcan and Heimlich.
Yeah, 17.
Got
16.
you. Yeah, okay. You feel that nagging primal fear, the tug at the back of your minds, the origin of fear, the reason why people are scared of the dark, and it is coming from these voids. You look up and realize that this void extends as far as the eye can see, probably further. Where there would be a ceiling or sky, there is a never-ending abyss. As you're stood at the top of these stairs, you notice that the sound of the crowd cheering has disappeared. You're left only with the sound of that thick air, that multitude of crescendoing thought lapping like waves against the back of your minds. What would you like to do?
Well, this is significantly worse than the last time we were down here.
Didn't we just have to bop a troll last time?
Well, yes.
Yeah, you did. Oh, yeah, this was not here last time you were here. All of this is very different.
I think Kato is kind of like huddled into the side of Lorcan and just kind of climbs up on top, and he's, Lorcan can tell he's a bit kind of on edge.
Yeah.
But would head down the stairs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Are the stairs
What?
carpeted?
Stairs are not... All right, fine. No, the stairs are not carpeted. They are just stone.
All about the interior design.
Sorry.
That's amazing. Good question, but no, there's no carpet via. I'm sorry.
And do the doors that are open behind us remain open?
Correct. Yeah. The room is still behind you.
How big is the gap in the middle where the void is?
So in the middle there is a sand pit which is 60 foot in radius. That there's no void there. The void is basically in the segments between the stairs. So there's no walls of this round place. It is just a void, and that extends upwards as well.
So do they extend upwards to doors which are, well, and the one behind it is just like door frames in a void?
Yeah, so door frames in a void, and they've got this stone around them. The keystone at the top has got a gem in. There's 3 gems that are glowing, but the one opposite you, the green one, is not glowing. Yeah.
Just to be honest, Detect Magic has a range of 30 foot, so I think I'd only at the moment be clocking the blue one. But would be keen to go to the others and find out if they did glow. Aware that one would have to walk through the sun pit of hopefully not doom.
Don't give me ideas, John.
All right, yes. So sorry, is it just Heimlich that sees the glowing? The rest?
Correct. Oh, sorry. No, you see them actually glowing. Sorry, you all see them glowing, but Heimlich can tell that they are magical.
Right, got
you. And I would, this is enchanted in some fashion as well as being very illuminated.
I mean, those old tales of traditional puzzles that I've read for my bedtime reading would suggest that we would want to, that they correspond to fire, cold, radiant, and poison. But I feel like if there was some sort of creating genius behind the world we find ourselves in, they wouldn't make it that easy for us.
I mean, well, the thing that is missing is this emerald, no? Does anyone have an emerald?
No, but... Well, if we want to go through that door, then I guess we need an emerald, but I get the feeling that one of these other doors we might be able to open it and see what's on the other side.
Shall we give one of them a push and see?
Can do.
I mean, at this point, it can't do any more harm than, or can't create any more danger than we're already in, right?
We're currently all still alive, which is pretty
Nobody's
good.
hovering over the void yet.
Vaya, please put that bit of carpet in the place where that emerald should be.
I was actually thinking, I've got a bit of jade on the 2 bear eyes that are on my bear. But I don't think Varia would take it out of the thing. I think she just leaned. And, like, you know, when you've got like an Ed Fringe pass or something, like, and you just, I don't know, like trying to wedge it in there and see if that does anything.
Okay, so that happens. The rest of you watch as Vaya kind of messes around with the plinth, the green plinth, waving something at it, but nothing happens Vaya as a result, I'm afraid. It does not respond to your shoving.
Cool. Okay, choose a door, any door, let's go.
Yellow.
Okay. Yellow door to the left. Cool. All right. So you make your way up the stairs like this, and
we're speed walking.
Totally. I think Canada won the speed walking at the Olympics. Side note. Anyway, moving back. So you make your way up the top of the stairs. You try the door. The door looks exactly the same as the one that you came through. You've got the same imagery on there. You try the door, but it doesn't seem to budge.
Please, can I chuck a guiding bolt at the gem?
At which gem?
Actually, just in case, Ember is a team player. Ember will turn to the party and go, the magic I do is quite often quite yellowy. Do you want me to try doing some yellowy magic into the gem and see if it does anything?
Why not?
As good an idea as any.
I'll chuck some radiant damage into the yellow gem.
Cool. Do you want to roll to hit?
No. Well, actually, I think the gem might need to make a dex save.
Oh.
So when I say guiding bolt, I definitely meant sacred flame, the cantrip.
Got you. I was like, that's
Sorry,
a lot of damage.
That spell.
Well, it rolled a 7. If that's of any use, I think it also fails.
Well, it fails anyway.
Yes.
So, that's a whole 5 points of damage.
Okay, so the rest of you watch as Ember kind of flips up and just releases this sacred flame, this energy to the gem. You notice at that moment the spell leaves your hand, Ember. The sound of the crowd cheering disappears. Sorry, it had already disappeared. It kind of comes back slightly and then kind of makes that kind of anticipatory noise and then fades away. As the spell hits the gem, silence. And through the silence, all of you hear the beginnings of metal on stone. Long drags echoing through this expansive yet oppressive area. It's hard to tell precisely where the sound is coming from until you, those of you by the yellow door, you hear thuds. And it echoes slightly, and you recognize that the thuds are coming from the opposite side of the space, by the opposite door, the red door. They're at different intervals now. Those of you by the yellow door, you see the wood of the door begin to splinter at the center in jagged cracks. One final thud. Who's at the top of these stairs?
Yes, I am.
I think I'd gone up there, or I would have gone up there, but hearing the thudding would have backed down the stairs a little bit.
Okay, all right. So just Amber? Anyone else?
Probably me.
Okay, all right. Amber and Varya, top of the stairs. I'll place you all, the rest of you sort of like down the way.
Well, placements don't matter. It's not like we're going to go into combat right now, so it's fine.
No, I mean, God, that's a silly assumption. Ember and Varya, please could you make for me a dexterity saving throw?
No, not very dexy. Okay.
As the broken doors on both sides, from the red door and the yellow door, explode into the room and clatter down the stairs.
That was a 5.
18.
18. Varya, you stand strong. Ember, you do not fly strong. You are flung. Fortunately, you can fly. Otherwise, you'd be taking some falling damage. You're taken by a chunk of door into the center of this space, about 30 foot in the air. Fortunately, because you're flying. Varya, immediately before you, and those of you looking towards the red door, fearsome creatures appear. There are no facial features. Varya, you have to look up, a standing 20 foot high with limbs elongated, each with a huge maw, not on their face because there are no facial features, but on their stomach, with sharp serrated teeth situated within their torso. They each carry sledgehammers behind them. The sledgehammers themselves are 15 foot in length. The one to the right where the red door is makes a slow descent down the stairs, the sledgehammer ominously thudding down each step. The creatures would be fearsome, but there is something about them that just takes off that edge. The one that appears before you, Varya, appears to have been dressed like a butler at some point, although the outfit is ill-fitting and filthy. It has a bow tie around its neck, hard to say because it just has a lump where its head should be, but there's a bow tie there. The one sort of clumping down the stairs to the right-hand side by the red door has a velvet robe hanging off its form, and from its head to its toe, it is covered in googly eyes. In addition, you see a green gem encrusted in its forehead. And we'll leave there for the break. Come back later, find out what happens with these two weird and wonderful creatures. We'll be about 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll see you soon. Welcome back. So, yes, what I'm going to need everybody to do is please roll for me some initiative as these creatures have entered this space.
Via, have your vigilant blessing you. What's it?
Thank you.
Ember, you were just cast.
Oh,
You were just
yeah, no, you
flung.
don't. Sorry,
Could
mate.
you-
I can't touch
That's
you.
all right.
Why
No,
don't
that's fine.
Are you sure? I was going to say, you could roll a
I've-
dex.
I'll roll a deck save to see.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
we'll see
our
if it
kind
works.
and gracious DM, and that was a
I mean-
19. So
Hey, it works.
As
Right.
you're being flung through the void.
Yeah.
I have advantage on initiative anyway, so I got an 18.
Oh.
oh,
Okay.
well.
Well, we tried. So
We
that's
tried.
Thank
that's
you.
fine. Was that an 18 for Via?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Everyone else, what did you get?
12.
8.
Also 8.
I will put Heimlich first, as I assume Heimlich has the higher dex.
I'm 16.
Got a 6.
Wow.
Oh, geez.
Why?
Because I went from a 20. I went from a 25 to a 6. I went from a natural 20 to a natural 1 on initiative.
Oh,
That's so sad. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's all right.
So 1, 2, 3, 4,
It's your
5. I've got you all. That's good. Hey, it could work out quite well. Now, Vaya,
Yeah.
the creature in front of you, unable to go down these 30-foot steps, is going to try and attack you with its whopping great sledgehammer. I'm going to say at disadvantage because it's not able to get through this door yet, and the door frame is above it. The sledgehammer is quite big, so I'm going to give it disadvantage on its 2 attacks against you.
Okay.
The first attack in total is a number, I know maths, is 11 to hit.
No.
The second, I'm rolling so badly, is an 11 to hit.
No.
The sledgehammer cracks against the keystone holding the yellow gemstone, and it kind of ripples and cracks. It hits it twice. Some of those stones dislodge Via to your sides, but it does not connect with you. Speaking of Via, it's your go now. What would you like to do?
Well, I think I might, oh, I don't know. I might rage. I might get a
Okay.
bit irritated.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna get a bit angry.
What does that look like?
I think Varia, considering that like her mate's just been thrown many feet, and then this thing is trying to tear down the structure around her, is going to do this with her head, ready her weapon in her trunk, put her 2 hand axes in her hands, and you very, very well, nobody, because I think her back's to everybody else, because facing this giant creature. But the giant creature would see Varia's face, which is usually quite elephantine, suddenly take on a bear-like aspect for a second,
Nice.
and everybody else sees the outline of a shaggy, furry coat. But then it disappears, and Varia's just there and is making pissed off noises.
Oh no. So this creature doesn't have eyes, so it can't see that, but it does detect that something happens. You see its face with the bow tie kind of cocked slightly as something is different. I'm guessing you'd like to attack, Via.
I think I would, if
Yeah.
that's all right.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to do that. And I will use this. Okay, excellent. Yep, so that's a 23 to hit for my first one.
That will hit, yes.
Okay, I'm going to roll them all and then I'll roll the damage.
Please
That's
do.
all right.
Yeah, fine.
That is a 14.
That's a miss, I'm afraid.
That's all right. And then my third one, because I am raging. Wait, yes? No. Yes. No, that was my bonus action. So I just get the first one then, I guess.
Got you.
Yeah. Cool. So with that in mind, I'm going to roll my damage.
Okay.
Well, that's nice. So that's 16 points of slashing damage.
against the butler, who will be called the butler throughout this. You get close to that bow tie by its neck, Varya. That second attack, though, it's got this fusion of earth and like elemental magic keeping its form together. So you hit something, but it seems to just sort of knock you back a slight bit. It connects, but no damage is made with that second attack that you made. But that first one, I'm going to say you slice off a triangle of that bow tie and then sort of get near the clavicle with your weapon. Are you staying where you are?
If I move away, it'll attack of opportunity me.
It will be able to attack you once, yes.
I'm going to stay where I am.
Got you. Okay. We're going to move on over to the priest. The priest is making his way down the right-hand set of stairs down to the 60-foot diameter pit, in which kind of all of you, apart from Ember, are sort of dotted around at this point. Ember, 30 foot near the base of the stairs where Varya is. On the opposite side, this priest is making its way down the stairs and will use its full movement to get down those, and is now stood near the red pedestal at the bottom of those steps. It's going to try something. It's going to spot, I'm going to say Heimlich being the sort of tallest thing in the space near it. Heimlich, given that this pit is about 60 foot in diameter, and this thing has just got to the bottom of the stairs, where do you place yourself around in space? How far away from it are you?
I would have probably been near the bottom of the yellow stairs, maybe 10, 20 foot back from those, watching the guys go up the stairs, but he always tends to try to stay on the edge of things because he's more useful out there.
Got you. Given that it's about 40 foot away from you, the priest going down the stairs at the base, it's going to try and boomerang its sledgehammer your direction, but it's going to do so at disadvantage because of the distance. So let's see. That's still a 23 to hit. Heimlich, does that hit?
That would hit, yes.
That is 17 points of bludgeoning damage as this massive sledgehammer whips through the air. It clocks you at the back of the head, Heimlich, and then spins right back, and the priest catches it.
Oof.
That's the priest go. Lorcan, over to you. Given that Heimlich's maybe 20 foot away from the base of the stairs where Varya is on the left-hand side, place yourself in that central pit.
So, well, I think, in my head at least, I'd backed away from the door a bit, like halfway down those stairs.
Oh, you? Okay, yep. Right, so there's 15 foot to get down to the base.
Yeah. Does the butler look like it's about to get through the door? Like, I know you said it was bigger, it was taller than the door, but like, is it going to just be able to crouch down and come through?
The creature is sort of, it would be able to get through the door. The door is the same height as it. However, I'm going to put this lightly. There is a massive Loxodon looking very angry in front of it, and this Loxodon does not look like she's moving. So as far as the butler's concerned, it seems to be stuck where it is.
Could I get to it though?
You would be able to, yes. So the stairs are 15 foot wide, so you'd be able to go either side of Varya to get down.
Not that wide. I'm wide, but I'm not that
wide. Cool. Then in that case, with Kato still on my back, I would charge up the stairs. As I go, Kato will pull out his lance.
Yep.
So I will get, the lance has a reach of 10 feet, so I will get within 10 feet of it.
Nice.
So the bonus action is going to be Kato will cast Ensnaring Strike, which now that he's got his new cloak on, the cloak becomes his spellcasting focus.
Ooh,
so it kind of, it would be billowing a bit anyway as I kind of run up the stairs, but it billows even more than you might expect as we go. So Kato will take his attack and extra attack with those. which, yes. One is 25 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
And another one is a nat 20 to make a 27 to hit.
That will absolutely hit. For the ensnaring strike, does the creature need to make a save?
I believe so. Yes. I think it's going to pass, but it's a strength save. Okay,
well, it rolled a natural 20, making it 26.
Yeah.
So it does pass. So roll all of your crazy, crazy damage.
Yeah, I'm just checking. Yeah, doesn't take any damage from the ensnaring strike if it passes. So, damage. So that one. For the first hit, that's only 7. The second one is, god damn it. So 7, 12, 19 plus 4 is 23 points of damage.
Is that in total, including the 7 you first told me about?
Yes.
That was 23 points of damage.
Yeah.
Got you. Awesome. So that's the lance on top of Lorcan. Kato, you rush up those stairs and attack the creature twice next to Vaya. Yeah. The creature can't really make any sound. It's not got any facial features. You do see that gnashing maw at the sort of core of this creature.
Would you say it has no mouth and it must scream?
Yes.
I get that. I
don't get that. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Tell me the reference.
It's a sci-fi story. Short story?
Yeah, short story.
I'm sorry.
It's alright. It was one of those things that I got obsessed with at uni and then I had nightmares about for weeks. But that's fine.
Okay. I don't know whether to feel good or bad about that, but okay.
It's such a freaky story. It's so weird.
I need to tell me about it later. I'll write it down. I'll have a look. No, God, no, it's good. So yes, it has no mouth, but it must scream as Kato digs into it twice with the lance.
I think right in the knee, under the kneecap.
Ooh, it used to be adventure like you until it took a Kato to the knee.
Hey.
Are you staying where you are?
Yeah. Am I with 10 feet? Am I within range of its massive sledgehammer?
You get the impression, using your eyes, perhaps, that the range of the weapon is 15 foot. So that would be the reach it would be able to reach.
Or
you. But
so I stay put. I stay put.
Got you. All right. In that case, we will move over to Heimlich. Heimlich, you're 20 foot away from the base of the stairs where these two are. There's a creature that's reached the bottom 60 foot away from you behind you. That's the one with the green emerald in its forehead.
And this is the one who has just thrown a big axe into my side.
You can put it that way, yes.
So thinking that it might be a good idea to just face one gigantic monstrosity rather than two, I am going to turn to the one who offended me such, and I will start playing a strange, unsettling aria that then begins to change. And if you could make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Sure. That would be in total 13.
13. So the unsettling aria starts playing out and it starts becoming a very pendulous, heavy piece of music that sounds like a tortoise, and I have cast polymorph on you. If you can be polymorphed, you become a tortoise. Amazing.
Please, could you read the polymorph spell out to me, just so I know? And a tortoise sounds amazing.
The spell transforms a creature you can see within range into a new form. An unwilling creature must make a wisdom saving throw to avoid the effect. The spell has no effect on a shape changer or creature with 0 hit points.
Heck. You watch as this 20-foot gangly creature with the gem in its forehead reduce down. What does the tortoise look like, Heimlich?
So it's a tortoise, but its shell is covered in googly eyes.
Amazing. That's beautiful. I would not have put it any better myself. It's weird. Its mouth is still the maw that would be the stomach of this creature. But yes, it is now tiny. And that was the priest. I'm just going to write turtle next to it, just so I remember. Cool. Wow. Nice.
And then for my bonus action, I will turn to my dear friend Dusk, who is within 30 feet of me.
Yeah.
Just wave an invisible baton and say, Dusk, do not hurt it, please. No one hurt the turtle. And rubato. And bardic inspiration of D8.
Amazing. Heimlich, that was awesome. Thank you.
Turtle.
The turtle has in its shell got that emerald still, by the way. It's just plonked straight there. Cool. Amazing. Ember, you are flying 30 foot above the base of the stairway where Varya and Kato are at the top of. You previously had been flung 30 foot backwards, and you're just 30 foot in the air. There's a turtle with a gem in it. Heimlich has said don't touch that, but there's also the big creature in front of Varya and Kato.
Liking Heimlich's train of thought, could Ember have a very quick think that wouldn't take an action of whether these creatures appear to be from a different plane of existence?
Ooh. I'll let you do that. I'm going to say history or arcana check.
History, please.
Okay.
I have proficiency. It's very exciting. Oh, and that was 19 on the dice, so 24.
Amazing. You've heard tales of constructs like this. These creatures are made, but they're sort of organic and also made of earth. It's hard to say what they're made of. They're mixed with elemental energy. Sorry, was that the question that you asked? Just remind me.
No, whether they're from this plane.
Oh, from this plane. It has been known for these things to tunnel. Whether they originated here is hard to say, but they certainly like tunneling for magic. That's what drives them. So it's hard to say what plane specifically they came from.
I don't want to burn my 4th level spell slot on a whim, so I am going to cast Inflict Wounds at 3rd level. So fly 30 feet over and boop it on the nose.
Another little boop. All right, roll to boop.
Cool. Is this my 3rd level? This is my 3rd level. Plus 9. Oh yeah, because I have my amulet. Thank you, Araleth.
It is okay.
Oh, I didn't see you there, buddy. Hi.
Hello.
I got too distracted to look at the die, and when I did, it was a natural 20.
What is it with? That's amazing.
So 29 to hit.
Oh, that misses.
And that will be 10d10.
What level is that? Is that 4th level?
That's 3rd level, because it's 3d10 and then another one and another one, and then double because it was a crit.
Yeah. Do you have 10d10 in your physical actual hand?
I will use an.
I just wanted to hear the sound of all of them, but okay.
Well, when I was monkeying and rolling lots of dice, Chris made me use an app if it was over like 5, because understandably everyone
for
got
tables.
bored.
Yeah, I mean for tables they do sort of go everywhere.
10d10. 70 points of damage, please.
No way.
I think I'm just going to gently weep to myself for just a little moment. 70 points of damage. Ooh. Okay.
I got so angry for no reason.
Ember.
Yes.
Now this creature, just from a game perspective, this creature's about 2 HP away. But considering that was such a ridiculous amount of damage in one go, I will ask you how you want this creature to end. This creature, this butler, dressed in its lovely butler outfit, what would you like to happen to it?
I think I'd quite like it. So whenever Ember inflicts wounds, she boops, and she has freckles, slightly glowing freckles on her face, and whenever she casts, they connect in like a constellation for a second, and that spreads from her finger to the boop and then spreads across the butler's face and body, and for a moment the butler looks spectacularly radiant and beautiful, and then I think I'd like the butler to explode, please.
Oh, okay. So Kato, Lorcan, and Varya, please just roll a dexterity saving throw for me to see how covered you get. Ember, that absolutely happens. Into it splats, but it's almost like ash as it drifts down to the floor. What are our saving throws? Was that 21, Hannah? I didn't quite hear you there.
21.
21.
So 13 for Lorcan and 19 for Kato.
Kato's fine. Lorcan, you've got Butler on you. I'm not going to go any further with that. Vaya, you're absolutely fine. So, with that, Dusk, you find yourself in this pit. Behind you is a slow-moving turtle, just edging its way closer to you. I will say we're in initiative unless anybody else would like to say otherwise. Do you wish to continue with this fight? You can say yes, I'm just asking.
How big is the turtle?
John, is it just a little one?
Yeah. Like not a little pet tortoise, like a good chunky, but it just can't go too fast. Not very friendly.
Can I grab the turtle like with its tail facing towards me?
Yes.
And then can I walk up the side of the plinth? And just one of the closest plinth and just like stand there holding the turtle up in the air.
Sure. I'm going to just, for the sake of this, I'm just going to have a look at some turtle stats. And what I'm going to do with that is just contest that pickup of the turtle, just to see how cross it would be about it. So give me just one little moment. Apologies, world, while I do this. Turtle 5th edition. Okay, let me just get some stats. It has a -4 to its strength, which is going to contest you with. Could you roll a strength check for me, please, Dush, just to see what happens?
I got a 15.
It rolled an 18, but with that -4.
That's it.
That makes a 14.
That's it.
You pick up the turtle. You make your way over to the green.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Make your way on over. And what would you like to do? You tell me.
I just want to walk up the side of the plinth and just like hold the turtle at arm's length. Because I'm just like, I know that it's the priest thing, and I know that I'm not supposed to hurt it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, this way.
Put the emerald back where the emerald should be.
Okay. We're allowed. Can that happen like before I've gone up the plinth?
What do you mean? Sorry.
As in what Varia said.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be able to, because the emerald's in the back of the turtle, right? So you'd be able to pick up the turtle and put it into the place where the emerald should be.
Yeah.
You'll then get the cute little turtle belly kind of writhing around, but it will stay there.
Okay, yeah. So trying to keep as far away from the snapping mouth of the turtle as possible.
Yeah,
I'll follow Varia's instruction and I'll stick it in the.
Just in case, I don't know.
Amazing. So, Duskus, you do have to kind of reach to put it in. The turtle is placed. The little legs are splayed akimbo, if you will. Polymorph lasts an hour, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're fine. The moment the gem is placed in. John, say again.
As long as I'm concentrating.
Got you. Yes, so it's placed within. You hear the sound of stone on stone as something behind the door opens, and then the wooden door opens as the green gem above it lights up. The turtle still moves where it is, but cannot move from its little plinth. You did it. Well done. That was unexpected and amazing. I loved it. That was ace.
We solved your turtle puzzle. Wait.
My friends, this is the most amusing, but if I should happen to cast a different kind of spell, the big thing with the horrible axe will return. What do we think we will just be moving forward through this weird nightmare hellscape, or do we think we might need to come back at some point?
We could remove the emerald, I suppose. Will that be causing harm to turtle? I don't know how. Turtle anatomy not my strong suit.
I not mine either, but I think if you take the shell off a turtle, it just falls in like a badly made sponge cake and does not last very long.
No, I was more thinking like you prize it out.
We could give it a go, but if the turtle dies, the enormous monster comes back. So as long as we are ready for that, we are good. And then if we get to the thing off the turtle, I think throw turtle into the void.
I love this idea. I love it. How gentle can we be at the extraction of emerald from turtle?
Who is the most dexterous out of all of you? I think that's the best way to do this. Dusk.
I will.
Turtle is writhing and kind of snapping a little, but tortoise, sorry.
I'll pull one of the tooly dart things from my belt.
Amazing.
And I will look to Varia and say, "Can you hold it down, please?"
Ah, no problem. Let's go. Do I need to make a contested strength check?
No, you will not need to do that, Varia. You prise the turtle from the place where it is. The door does shut at this point, and the gem does stop glowing. But yes, you can hold the turtle down.
Lovely. In which case, then I will try and use that tool for the purposes of prying the gem off. Now, what I will say is,
yes.
I am proficient with cook's utensils, and this is not massively unlike shucking a clam.
Oh my god, this is amazing. Sure, yes, add your proficiency to this. It's going to be a sleight of hand check, I believe.
You still got bardic.
Oh, okay, fine.
Varia, you feel the claws of it kind of just sort of pressing against your hand as you're holding it down. It doesn't hurt, they're just kind of softly pressing against you.
Could I guidance?
Of course you can.
Mad. All right.
But that's plus
I'm at
4
25
as well.
without anything else, but I'm going to add...
Just in case.
Just in case.
I don't want to fight a googly-eyed priest.
All right, that's a 29.
29.
For gratuity's sake, because the bardic inspiration goes...
No, the bardic's good for 10 minutes, so hang on to that if you don't need it.
All right, cool, fine. So 29.
Okay, it fails. No, you're fine. There's a echoing throughout this place now. There is I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but as the gem releases from the back of the turtle. The turtle is fine, unharmed by this. And Dusk, you find yourself a proud owner of an emerald in your hand. Varia, you're holding a very crossed-looking tortoise.
Do I eat it?
Absolutely.
Varia overhead chucks this, dunks this thing into the void.
I'm surprised you even asked.
I'm trying to do this. Remember that synergy, that management training course. If we're going to franchise, very important. I take into account. Anyway,
Do you eat with your hands or your trunk?
I was holding it in my hands.
Got you.
I don't want my trunk anywhere near something that would turn into the googly-eyed monster.
Understood. It kind of spins as you throw it towards the void, kind of to the left of the door, the emerald door that you're going to go towards. You watch as the void these tendrils reach out for it and grab it as it comes close, taking it in, and there's no sound of it falling. It just vanishes.
Oh, imagine having one of these, but it's for our bins.
Dusk, realizing that he has is a proud owner of a very colorful shiny thing, is going to try and put it in his pocket.
Dusk, we need that to get through the door.
Dusk would disappointedly take it out and put it in Lorcan's mouth.
Thank you. I get Kato. I kind of roll my shoulders, and Kato gets off Lorcan's back, and I kind of give him a signal, and he takes the emerald and scrambles up the plinth and shoves it back in the hole.
Amazing. Again, that same situation happens where you hear the stone behind it lift up and the door opens.
Well,
okay.
Anyone else got anything else to do here?
Well, I had a little suggestion, which was we've already faced some nasty things, and we might be facing nastier things, and currently this room is empty and safe. And as we all know from the multiple adventures we've been on together, I have that little, one could call it a hut, and it's quite tiny, that we could sleep in if we wanted to.
Okay. Well, he's down for a nap.
certainly, if anyone needs to rest,
I can keep going, but I'll be more useful if we sleep.
Just before we do, I'd like to go up the stairs far enough to just see through the door. What can I see through the door?
Sure. So, different to the door where the priest came down, the door where the butler came down, when you saw them disappear, there was that void behind them. There was nothing. They came from as if nowhere. But the door that leads up to the green door, behind that is a tunnel, which kind of veers off to the left. The tunnel itself is made of rock and soil. Quite odd. Given the situation of where you are, but it certainly looks the most normal thing you've seen so far in this space.
Okay. Sure. Cool. There doesn't seem to be anything coming towards us, certainly, or nothing dangerous that I can see, but if we're going to rest, perhaps we should close the door again.
We also don't have to. I'm definitely not about to fall over, just there might be worse things ahead and we might not have time again.
Oh no, I mean, let's have a sleep. I will stand guard. Put it that way. You know, I don't need the sleep. You guys go for it.
So is this going to be a long rest? I'm just asking because you might need to sleep at some point, that's all. Otherwise you'll get exhausted. It's up to you. You can be exhausted if you like. I don't mind, but
I don't mind if it's a long rest. We can swap shifts if anybody's not.
I am not especially tired. Kato could do with a good long rest, but I can certainly help with keeping watch.
I can as well.
I can too.
Great.
Nice.
Okay. Well, Ember, set up, I suppose, and I will just. And Raya just sits and stares directly at the green door.
Are you removing the gem just for the sake of me knowing?
Yeah, I think I'd get Kato to pull the gem out again.
Got you. All right. Kato does that. Ember, your tiny hut, does it have anything specific to you about it? Is there anything?
It looks as close as possible to my little sphere at home. So it's as similar to that as I can fairly get.
Awesome. Cool. So it definitely takes on that sort of colour. I'm going to say the outside has got that blue and that gold going on, and maybe the inside looks a little bit thatched. And you all are able to process a long rest if you wish. In fact, let's just do some watches just before we do that. Those of you on watch, who's going first? Vaya. Facing that door, not blinking. Could you make a perception check for me just to see if there's anything in this room that's untoward?
Yeah, of course. That's an 11 plus 4. That's a 15. Wait, I have advantage. 19 plus 4. That's a 23.
Holy Christ. Okay. Yeah, you are good. You look around unblinking the entire time. You are going to miss nothing. And what you see is nothing. Nothing happens. But you are sure that nothing happened during that time. Via you you'd be able to be in the hut regardless of any of this. You can see out. But you, who's next? You go and wake up who?
I'll go next.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd probably go and wake up Lorcan.
All right. Lorcan and Kato, between you, if you want to make a perception check, whoever is best.
Yeah, Lorcan. That is 19.
19. Again, the group that never blinks, that is now your team name. You do not blink this entire time either. You maybe notice the tendrils slightly licking the air, no more than usual, but that's the sort of thing that you'd see. No movement within the solid surfaces of this place anyway. The black void does kind of ebb and flow like the sea again. It's that kind of vibe, but it doesn't feel threatening. And with that, you awaken Dusk, I believe.
Yeah.
Your perception check.
Awesome.
I got a 14.
14, okay. Dusk, you look out. You do not see anything specific for a moment, but nearing the end of the rest, when everyone's about to wake up, you spot patches appearing in the air, on the ground, on the surfaces of the plinths. Patches of nothing. Patches underneath things like the plinths. Some of the plinths for the door that you came through, the blue door, begin to fall into the earth just for a millisecond. Then this void disappears and the solid earth remains as things start to sink and then solidify in their space.
Okay.
I will let you all process a long rest as a result, but that is what's happening. These patches appear then disappear very quickly, unaffected by this dome. This dome's quite safe, but there are areas of the floor that seem like they disappear to nothing, but then reappear again.
Does it seem to be happening like progressively more as time passes, or like that it's like, or is it just it happens once, or?
It happens once and you think you're losing it, and then it keeps on happening. Maybe 2 more patches, and then 3, and then there's like 10 minutes where nothing happens, and then 5 appear and then disappear, and then just 1 again. It's quite erratic. There's no specific time to it.
Are the effects of them like long lasting? Like, does it seem like the plinths have actually sunk, like even when the patches go?
The blue plinth is still there, but it's at a slight angle now in the floor, and it is now moving. You've experienced something like this in the tunnels you've been in before. The furniture embedded in the walls. It's that kind of vibe.
Okay. I will wake up Ember and say, and just point at the patches as and when they may occur.
There's like 3 that kind of circle the dome and then they disappear, and then 1 appears on the stairs where the priest came down. A set of stairs completely vanish into nothing, and now there's a gap in the stairs.
We maybe go before the portal we need to get through vanishes. Also, good morning, Dusk. Did you sleep well? But we should go.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. We've put the gem in. And then
Okay.
we can go.
I'm assuming the rest of you are woken up at this point, or is Dusk
Yeah,
just
I think
going?
Hearing people talking and yeah.
Yeah, so you're all able to process a long rest if you need it, just to point out. Cool, so you place the gem in the plinth. Who's doing that? Dusk?
Yeah, I'll grab the gem off of Kato and put it in.
Got you. Dusk, can you make a dexterity saving throw for me, please? As you're walking there, a patch of earth disappears beneath your feet.
I got a 22.
Nice. You hop over it and you make your way to the plinth, place the gem in. The rest of you, how are you moving to the stairs and to the door? Wow.
As quickly as possible.
Does it,
Amazing.
these disappearing bits, it seems very perilous.
I mean, yes. Basically what disappears is the surface. What replaces it is that void, that nothingness. It then dissipates and becomes the floor again. What happens when you go in the nothingness? Well, that turtle didn't come back. So,
I am going to pull out my wonderful new Citan and use it to cast Fly on Varia and just say, is it possible to throw in a piggyback or an elephant back? Is it maybe? I'm not very nimble.
No, it's fine. I'm not speciesist. Yeah, go on.
So we have a flying lockstone.
Amazing. Vaya, how does it feel to fly?
This rocks. I think that Varia tends to like being on the ground, being connected to the ground, but when the ground itself is betraying, I think there's something about this that's like, add it to the list of things I may want one day. I never thought to want this, and now I've got it. Ooh. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay, those flying. Can I have actually all of you? Let's just have another dexterity saving throw as a group. Let's see what happens as you get near to the door. No pressure.
18.
Is he?
16.
Okay, that's good. 11 at the Heimlich.
So for Larkin and Kato, it is respectively 8 and 11.
Okay. Vi, I didn't quite hear you there.
That 20.
Oh, nice. You are all very lucky with Hannah's ability to roll natural 20s. That was looking a bit hairy at one point. Whew. So yeah, you all rush to the stairs where the green door is. Under your feet, Kato and Lorcan, you're still on the ground, aren't you? Yes. Patches do disappear, but Ember passes you by and gets the back of your neck as you are able to traverse this nothingness. Heimlich, you, as you are on the back of Vaya, a patch of nothingness appears by your arm, but Vaya manages to swerve out of the way. Dusk, were you on the ground as well?
Yeah.
Cool. So as Vaya swerves, she then puts her arm down to grab you by the neck as like a huge patch of nothing encompasses you, apart from one patch that you're stood on, as you're lifted up through this door and you reach the rock tunnel. Good work, guys. That could have been quite hairy. So, yes, you find yourselves in a non-patchy tunnel. How exciting. It is a corridor. It veers slightly to the left. The walls are rock and soil. The floor is mud, and it seems quite wet. Your feet leave marks as you enter.
Varia's not going to put her feet down. She's flying. She's an elephant that can fly. Songs have been sung about this.
I think Heimlich should sing a song at this point in time.
The voices of some spectral crows in his head.
Yeah, I think, just the like joy of this is it. Yeah.
So Varya kind of whizzes through this corridor. Heimlich, your head is like this, avoiding the ceiling as this is happening. The rest of you, what are you doing? Varya's gone. She's gone. She's gone with Heimlich.
Following, but also with this being mud that we're leaving footprints in, like, are there any other signs of footprints or things around? Can I smell anything? That kind of stuff.
You like to smell.
I'm tracking. Is there anything around to track?
Oh, roll for me 2 things. Let's go for a perception and an investigation check.
Okay, not survival?
Well, I wouldn't say survival. You're not trying to survive anything.
Right.
I mean, you are technically, but you know what I mean.
All right, so investigation, 12, and perception, 14.
Still pretty good. Perception smells the sort of aromas that you're getting. You like, look, and it's that kind of woodland kind of vibe. Possibly reminds you of, reminds the wolf of the olden days. You see with that investigation check within the walls, pickaxes in the walls, but not as you'd expect. They are embedded again in this weird fashion. The air is cold as you inhale. There's like a sharp awakening really for all of you as you're in this tunnel. It feels like there's a breeze. With that investigation check as well, I will say, as you're all walking along, Lorcan and Kato, you would spot in the walls little googly eyes every now and then. But no other sign of life in terms of other tracks. There aren't any in front of you because someone's flying. You don't see anything else.
Okay.
Varya and Heimlich, I'll just jump across to you if that's okay. How are you doing?
Great time.
Great. You're reaching the end of this tunnel. I would say you've not had chance to see everything else that everybody else has because you've just zipped through. The end of this tunnel is drawing close and you see the beginnings. Your heart kind of sinks a little bit because what you see is a never-ending darkness, but then there's a light literally at the end of the tunnel. You see a rope bridge extending out into this darkness, 120 foot, to an island, organic, which just floats in the air. From this island are 4 smaller islands connected by spindly walkways. From your position at the end of the corridor in which you are, that is what you can see.
And around us is void.
So you're still in the tunnel, so around you specifically isn't void, but around this rope bridge, all around it, yes, is a never-ending nothingness.
Okay. How long does this last? This flying?
Let me just think on it, because it is new. It is a new instrument. It is
No problem.
10 minutes.
Okay.
We have a bit more time, I think.
About 5 minutes left.
I don't feel great about me on a rope bridge. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm big. It's not that.
Laura,
Shall-
what I would describe as your natural habitat.
No. Do you want to be set down here or in the island in the middle?
Depending on when our colleagues come along to join us, maybe we could carry on in this style. It is quite fun, I think.
Okay, so Mario will fly to the central island.
Amazing.
Above the rope bridge, so not veering off into void,
Mm-hmm.
but above rather than walking on what looks perilous.
Do you have hair, Varya? Do you have bristles? I mean, I just want to. Do you actually have hair on your head, or?
I'm literally looking this up. Very thin cuts of hair.
Okay.
Very thin.
These very thin cuts of hair billow in the wind as you begin to fly to this central island. Heimlich, you watch such a happy Loxodon just drift off to 120 foot away from you. As the rest of you come to this place where Heimlich is stood, you see this rope bridge extending 120 foot, and you see a Loxodon. You're still not going to touch the floor, are you? No, hovering above a hovering island 120 foot over this bridge. I'll come back to you in a minute, Varya, just so you know what's around you. But yes.
Yeah, I would just head over. I'd kind of test the bridge first.
Yep.
But assuming that it seems solid enough, then yeah, I'm just going to head over.
Surprisingly sturdy. Considering it's made of rope, you'd expect some kind of give, but it doesn't happen. It seems quite sturdy. It's almost like the whole thing's made of wood. As you are able to reach a very happy Varya.
Can I do a barrel roll?
Of course you can, but could you roll an acrobatics check for me to see what it's like?
$17.
Hey, tell me how your barrel roll goes.
It looks sick as fuck. Like, there's no two ways about it. A Loxodon wearing bear armor has just done a barrel roll in midair over a floating island. What is there not to
Yeah, respect.
Well, I have seen a horse fly.
The fan art will be amazing, that's all I have to say. Ember and Dusk, what's the plan? And Heimlich, of course, what are you doing?
I think Ember is anxiously ferrying people back and forwards across the bridge. So just as they walk, she'll be providing air support in case they plummet to their death. She could pray for them as I don't know, try and catch them.
That's beautiful. So who's going first out of Heimlich and Dusk? Chaperoned by Ember.
I'll go as Dusk. You are much better at running up and down and along things than I am.
All right, Heimlich. How do you go with Ember? Are you just following? What's the vibe with you two? How do you proceed? Ember, are you holding a hand? Like what's going on? How do you chaperone? Is what I'm asking for.
I think for Heimlich, I'll just accompany him alongside. So if Heimlich is on the rope bridge, Ember will just be over to the left.
Are you? You're able to do so. Heimlich, you make it to the floating island. Ember, you make your way back for Dusk. What's the plan, Dusk?
I feel like so it's a rope bridge. Does that mean that the rope is like there are like rope handrails?
Correct.
Rope?
Yeah. So yeah, there's handrail ropes. Why do you ask?
I'll try and run along one of the handrail ropes,
Beautiful.
if possible.
Beautiful.
In that case, I would like to stand on his shoulders while he does this.
Understood.
We have
Ember's-
that kind of relationship, right, Dusk?
Yeah.
So Dusk, can I please get an acrobatics check for you? Ember, you can't see Ember's eyes, but one of them is just twitching very slightly as you're doing this.
I got a 27.
Beautiful. Ember, your eyes twitch, but then your eyes spring to life as you're enjoying it. You hold on to... Pav, have you... Ember, no. Dusk, do you have hair?
No, I am very bald.
But hold on to your ears.
I have a moustache.
Even better, we can go with moustache. Or ears. You hold on to something to do with Dusk's facial features and or facial hair, as Dusk zips.
Maybe a handlebar moustache.
Well, in that case, I have to, don't I?
As Dusk manages to reach that central island. Vaya is still quite happy, although I do have a 1 minute sand timer somewhere, but I can't get it to hand. But you've got a minute left, Vaya. What would you like to do in your last minute of flying?
Like, go as high up as possible and then very gently float back down.
Nice. You reach about 60 foot and then gently float down, similar to Featherfall, I guess. Cool, you do that. So, all of you on this central island. Via your feet are now on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see
Still nice.
You see the 4 platforms that extend from this place on kind of 5 foot but very kind of precarious walkways. There are silhouettes on each of these 4 podiums, I guess. One is a deck chair, going clockwise. One is a deck chair. One is a wooden bar stool with each leg painted a different colour, a googly eye on each leg. One is a leather wingback chair patched at thinning areas with different coloured velvet, and there's a single googly eye on each of the velvet patches. One is a chaise longue with purple velvet tassels. Dusk kind of reminds you of your shoes. It's just a coincidence, but it's one of those things. All of you on this central island, you see ahead of you, now visible, now that you're here. I know you all have like 300-foot dark vision, but it's visible now. You see the oddest thing. I mean, it's not surprising, but you see the oddest thing. There is a cliff 120 foot away in the nothingness. It's sat there impossibly, like everything else so far, but this cliff edge is made of sand, and it seems to be saturated and then dry, like an invisible sea is lapping at it. Could I get some perception checks, please, just to see if there's anything else anyone can pick up?
Big 3.
Hey!
12.
11.
14.
Heimlich?
21.
Thank goodness.
A casual 21. Amazing. Okay. With that casual 21 and maybe a 14. So the central island, it's about 15 foot wide. In the center, it's got like an indent, like a circle, kind of like a pool, I guess. Within that is a milking stool. In front of it is a half-moon shaped plinth, which bears writing in common. The writing reads, "Speaketh and alarum sound the words atop thy pews." Heimlich specifically. With that perception roll, your eyes looking at this plinth then shift to the focus. It shifts your focus to the cliff on the other side. Where this invisible sea hits the sand of this cliff edge, you see the words appear written in the sand. These words read, "Long live the king." All of you then hear the sound of the sea.
And sorry, the common was speaketh?
Yep. And alarum sound, the words atop thy pews.
Are there words on the different chairs?
Make an investigation check.
17.
17. Ember, you're flying. That's amazing. You make your way to all these different chairs with these different colours and all these googly eyes. You see on the chairs no words.
There are no words atop these pews.
Dusk is just gonna just assuming that we're able to understand. So that we've all read that. That's all understood. What's been said so far.
I believe Heimlich is the only one to have seen the words appear on the sand. But you've all got common, so you're all able to read the thing.
I will point it out. There are some words over on the mountain, and a bit like when you're trying to show someone to see a magic eye.
Yeah.
We get there.
It kind of focuses into it.
What does it say?
It says, "Long live the king."
Dusk is just gonna say, "Shark," quite quietly.
Shark.
Although the words are quiet, they kind of echo throughout this space. It's not a result of these words happening, but as these words happen, all of you kind of trying to make out the words in the sand. In the distance, where there was this void, this endless nothing, now appear palm trees 120 foot away from you on the other side. There's a forest growing.
Wait, do we need to sit on these chairs and say "Long live the king"? Is that the vibe? What?
Perhaps. It's worth a try.
Okay, let's give it a go.
Worth a try.
All right.
Larkin. Larkin will head towards the chaise longue because he likes it.
Yeah. Nice.
There's a chaise longue, there's a milking stool. What were the others?
Deck chair.
Deck chair and a bar stool, was it?
There's a bar stool and a wingback.
Oh, wingback.
Dusk will go for the wingback.
Amber will go for the bar stool.
And I will take the deck chair.
Beautiful.
I'll the milking stool then, which looks comically small.
Oh, it does. And I believe you need to all say something.
Long live the
ready
king.
my weapon. Long live the king.
I was Alarum. I like it. All together and in such joyous gusto, you are all perfect. And as that happens, Varya on the milking stool, straight ahead of you, because it's kind of in this little dip, this milking stool, you can still see over the plinth that's in front of it because you're quite tall, but you see slat by slat a rope bridge appear, going 120 foot over to this cliff on the other side.
Okay. Yay, walkway, let's go.
You then hear the sound of the sea, and then in the distance, a fanfare. You're not sure where that came from.
Okay, let's go.
I agree. Yeah.
So as we're running in that direction, Heimlich will say, I am a man who has a skeleton in his bedroom, but what kind of twisted weirdo has made this place? I am intrigued to meet them, and I would also quite like to make them suffer.
George
That's
Blood.
confused. So you all cross the bridge, I assume, unless you like your milking stalls or furniture.
I take the milking stool with me.
Of course you can. Sure. I love that you're on a mission. It's like the Argos catalogue in here, isn't it? You're just picking out what you want.
I mean, I don't want it, but just in
I'm
case
just going
I
to
need
take
it.
it.
You could throw it at somebody.
Well, that was the plan.
So you end
Ranged weapon.
Sorry. Roll for milking stool. You end up in a thick jungle, apparently has appeared. Your feet hit sand, which again kind of moistens and then dries out. There's no path specifically through this forest, but this forest has sort of taken over where all of this void was in front of you. You hear insects, it's humid. You do hear the sound of the sea, though it's not coming from behind you, it's coming from in front of you. You all stand on this shoreline, perfectly bemused.
Venture forward, I suppose, wherever the fanfare came from.
Perception check for fanfare location.
Okay. That's a 19.
19. similar situation, came from everywhere and nowhere. There's no pinpoint on it.
I'm going to say long live the king again.
It echoes out, but dampened somewhat by the trees around you.
Okay, everybody all together. You want to count us in, Heimlich?
I want to long live
the king!
You all are joyous in your announcement to the world, and the world does not respond.
Right. Oh well, worth a shot.
How dense is this forest?
Very. As in dense with, I get confused with density. Density is like packed, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, very. There are trees everywhere. There are vines stretching from each one. The trees have coconuts on. It's lovely. Those of you with the higher passive perceptions, so that'll be Heimlich and Lorcan, you do spot the occasional tankard just buried in the soil and the occasional barrel buried in the soil. Same imagery from before, just dotted around at random.
I would get Cato to pull out his scimitar and short sword and kind of start slicing a bit of a path, I think.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm kind of immediately behind him, like nudging him with my snout just to kind of be like, no, around that tree, or yeah.
Got you. Eventually, the path does sort of form. Lorcan / Cato, please could you make a survival check for me?
Mm-hmm. Yes, not 20, so 24.
Nice.
Amazing. So yeah, you cut out quite a good path. You're listening with your ears. What else would you listen with? And you hear the sound of the sea and you kind of navigate towards it as best you can. What are the rest of you doing as you follow?
I was wondering, can I fly up so I'm above the tree line and see if I can see anything?
Sure, of course you can. Okay, so Ember, you fly up. How high do you want to go? The trees are probably 15 foot tall, I guess. How high would you like to go?
15 feet above that, so yeah, 30 away from the party.
Got you. All right, you see, the first thing that stands out to you is a huge mountain covered in moss. About a 10 minutes walk, if you weren't surrounded by trees, from your current position. You do spot Cato slicing and hacking away, and Lorcan kind of angling him correctly, going the right way and stuff. Could you make a perception check for me, please?
Yes. 21.
You're all rolling amazingly at the minute. I'm so impressed. Luck is on your side. Ember, you see, as Cato and Lorcan are gravitating towards this area, which is good. That seems like the right way to go. Encroaching from the sides is this void. Trees are just randomly disappearing, and void takes over. It doesn't seem like it's going to reach you yet, but it certainly feels like it's closing in on you as you are continuing. The rest of you down on the floor, just a casual look behind you, you notice missing things slightly. There's a tree that's just missing. It's not there anymore. You're not sure, there's so many trees around, but you're sure that curved tree was there and now it's not anymore. Sorry, Ember, you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just saying fun. But also, maybe after the moment of panic, I will fly back to the party and go, well, everyone's doing a very lovely job and Cato's doing brilliantly, but maybe we could all do a little faster because the void is approaching and will soon swallow us to nothing. But there's a mountain over there that we might want to reach before that happens.
That sounds like a good idea. And I kind of prod Cato to just go fucking faster.
Cato responds as you all kind of hurriedly move forwards. It takes about, I'm going to say it's going to take about 10 minutes, by which point you actually see gaps through the trees now to your left and right as this void is encroaching. Trees disappear before your very eyes. It's not quite touching you yet, but you do reach the base of the mountain. As this abyss is coming close to you, you see 3 separate tunnels. One is, well, they're all perfectly shaped. One is shaped like a triangle. That's the one on the left. The one in the center is a square, and the one to the right is a hexagon. They're all perfect in their geometry, and around their borders are googly eyes. All of them.
I'm so worried we're going to face a googly-eyed beholder.
Varia takes one of the googly eyes that was on the painting and compares it to the googly eyes that are on the... Are they the same googly eyes?
Sure, so you reach out with the googly eye and the ball bearing within it kind of rattles near the bottom. Yes, they are the same googly eyes. It's the same vibe.
Varia prizes off one of the new googly eyes. 3 googly eyes.
Yes.
Anyone got a preference? Which tunnel?
Triangle's quite a strong geometric shape.
Correct.
Sorry, Amber. I'm a lot of going on in my head. Might you try and fly up quite high and see if there is anything in the shape of this mound? I do.
In the shape of the mountain?
Yeah, but if it relates to any of these.
Oh, see if the mountain is coincidentally in the shape of a perfect hexagon. Yes, okay.
Amber, you soar into the sky looking for that perfect geometrical shape. The mountain is naturally formed, therefore is not perfect in its geometry. The moss is lovely from this viewpoint, but you do not see any specific sign as to which would be a geometric shape to choose.
I fly down again and give Heimlich a look.
No, my mother and father had a similar experience with shaped tunnels, but it is not these, sadly. Ugh. What do you think? Eeny, meeny, miny?
I think we should split the party, clearly.
No.
I'm down.
What? I've got a milking stool. I'm going to just chuck the milking stool down one of the open...
Sure, which one?
The one on the right. I don't know.
That's the hexagon. Okay, so you chuck your beloved milking stool down this tunnel.
Carried away.
You look as it kind of flies and it kind of bounces off the wall. You hear a slight splash as it does, as it falls into water. You kind of peer in and you see that the walls are covered in seaweed. And there are little shells dotted about on the floor.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I have a trunk which acts as a snorkel, but I'm not going to. No.
Just so you know, the water, it's just puddles on the floor. There you can see. It's not like deep or anything. It's just puddles on the floor.
Okay, cool.
If there's a bunch of seaweed in there, like if I go and, like I watch and at the mouth of that tunnel as Varya chucks the stool down. I assume I would smell all the seaweed and stuff. Or is that the case? Can I smell seaweed?
The smell of seaweed is present in all of the tunnels, and sure enough, you look into all of them. There's the same kind of stuff going on in each one of them. There are slight salty lined puddles on the floor within wet sand. There are limpets stuck to the walls, that kind of thing. But in all of them, it's identical. And
is it just the entrance to the tunnels that is shaped, or are the tunnels themselves perfectly a perfect triangle, square, and hexagon? As they
I like the word themselves. The tunnels themselves are shaped like that all the way through.
Okay. I mean, triangles are very strong shapes. I don't have any other basis for which one to choose. So
love a triangle. Okay,
Love
triangle down.
They make the best musical noise.
They do.
Sorry, Heimlich.
Okay, with a strong decision down the triangle, Yeah, you go down the triangle tunnel, and like I said, you have got the limpets on the walls. You've got starfish even kind of stuck to the ground. It's quite tall, the triangle, but you can't walk side by side unless you want to walk like this. But the sound of the sea is very strong here. You hear the wind first, then you hear the rain. And as you continue, it feels as if you have walked as if in a dream onto the center of a ship. The waves crash and smatter you each in salt water, and you can feel the wet as it does. There is a black sky above you, heavy with ominous clouds. Lightning strikes above you. This ship, seemingly abandoned, no one else is on there, lurches oddly, no one steering it through waves crashing in and over them. Anything you'd like to do?
Can everyone else see this, or have I just fallen asleep?
No, you're seeing a ship, right?
No, I'm seeing a pink unicorn. Yes, I'm seeing a ship.
Okay, good. Well, not good. Can we still see the tunnel we've just come out of?
Oh, you turn around. You are literally on a full-blown ship. The deck is covered in chests, like treasure chests and lobster pots. There's seaweed smattered over the whole thing. Where the bubbles in the seaweed would be, guess what? There's some googly eyes. Everything is kind of condensed towards the prow of the ship, I believe, is the front of the ship. Everything is kind of condensed there. You recognize some of the stuff. There's spindly little when you saw the goblins, when you fought the goblins, they made structures out of wood. There's that kind of vibe. There's a weird little platform going on. There's a ramp up to the prow where there's an oversized plank visible to everyone. And as this boat kind of swings and crashes through the waves, you see beyond the plank what looks to be a huge swirling in different colors. A whirlpool at the very end. Although the boat is moving, the whirlpool is not.
Boat moving towards the whirlpool.
The boat feels like it's moving through the waves, but it's not going anywhere.
Okay, cool. Oh, I don't want to jump in the whirlpool.
I quite do want to jump in the whirlpool.
Discuss.
Can I open up one of the treasure chests that's nearby?
Sure, of course you can. It's locked. Well, the one that you get to is locked.
Well, I turn around to everyone and say, I'm stumped.
Opening the chest or going in the whirlpool?
Both.
Varia takes a hand axe and hits the...
Amazing. Varia just makes a beeline to this chest, axe at the ready, just slams down onto it. I feel like, Dusk, you didn't need to say a thing before Varia started to do this. As that happens, the axe hits the deck as it literally goes through this chest, because you've hit it with such force. From that, spilling out in an explosion of googly eyes that scatter across the deck of the ship.
Yeah, so.
Again, another wave crashes over and sends them kind of slippering off to the left-hand side.
The whirlpool looks very different from the nothing, right?
Correct. Yes, I mean, you're surrounded now by a full-on storm. Beyond that, you're not sure what you can see because of the clouds, because of the rain. But the whirlpool itself certainly seems different. Can I get some perception checks from... Sorry, Morgan, go for it.
Just how far away is the whirlpool?
The whirlpool is literally below the oversized plank.
Right, okay.
Is there any sense of encroaching nothing?
Oh, well, everyone roll a perception check for me, and I'll answer a couple of questions. Is that 4 or 2?
No, 22.
22. Okay, even better. And is that a 2?
Yep.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
13.
Heimlich?
19.
19. Okay, all right. I think everyone, but unfortunately Dusk, 2 things. you sense something moving under the water near the stern. I did Googling. Near the stern of the ship. In terms of the encroaching void, you're not feeling that. You're feeling instead the salt air. That heaviness seems to have dissipated at this point. But in terms of the thing moving by the water, your senses are confirmed as 4 giant tentacles rise up from the waters, 2 near the front, 2 near the back. The 2 near the back, as you're I'm putting you near the central mast at this point, near the front. The 2 near the back wrap round the stern of the ship, pulling it downwards. You are currently on a slant, on a very slippy ship. Can I get a dexterity saving throw from everybody, please?
I can see this thing, right?
Correct, yes you can. Those who are flying currently, you should be okay because you're not affected by that.
What about people with spider climb shoes?
Ooh, good question. Sure, you are fine. You're not impeded by this slant. Those of you who do not have lovely shoes or wings, what did you get?
12.
12?
19.
19?
Lorcan gets a dirty 20.
Nice.
Keto gets a 3.
Okay. Lorcan, tell us how you rescue Kato as Kato begins to slip down the deck.
I notice him slipping, and I just run over to him and kind of grab his cloak by the scruff of the neck and sort of
Nice.
fling him onto my back.
You fling, and he looks very confused about the whole situation. I got another lower number, did I not? Heimlich, yours was a 12.
Yeah.
Heimlich, your lovely shoes that you wear, they're polished, aren't they? You've got quite a smart shoe on. Not designed for the current terrain as you begin to descend as the top of this boat rises upwards. Is anybody going to jump in?
I grab him.
Okay. You appear saved by Ember. As this all goes on. Dusk, you're fine. You are stuck firmly to the surface. Vayu, you rolled pretty high, right? You got 22.
19.
19. You did 22 earlier. That's where I got confused. What are you all doing? The tentacles near the front of the ship are kind of whipping through the air and gyrating. They appear to be kind of similar to the tendrils of the abyss. They kind of move in that same fashion, but they certainly seem, I want to use the word tactile, they seem like they're pulling a ship down. What would you like to do?
Whirlpool!
Seems like the best option now.
Anybody need a lift?
No, I think Lorcan with Kato on back is already heading towards the side of the ship to leap off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what order are we going in?
Lorcan
Lorcan
goes
first?
first. Yeah.
Yep, Lorcan and Kato. Who's next?
Then Varia.
Yep.
I think Ember will hang till last because she can grab people out of the sea.
I'll go next.
Okay.
And then me. Thank you, Ember.
All right, okay. So Lorcan, you make a run, Kato on your back. One of the tentacles slams down in front of you. Can you make an acrobatics check to see if you can get over it?
16.
16, good enough. The rest of you watch as Lorcan jumps over it. The tentacle then raises up. We move across to Varya. The tentacle to the left-hand side of you is going to try and hit you. Could you make a dexterity saving throw for me? You can see it happening if that helps.
Does help. Oh my god, it helps. Oh, fuck. I don't know about that, though. That's 11.
11. Not quite what you needed. You're still able to continue past, but you take quite a huge hit as a result. Let me just roll some dice and see what that is. .24 points of bludgeoning damage as this thing crashes down on you.
Fuck.
Then you're able to get through, but it sort of whips back up again. As Dusk, you begin your run. 2 begin to crash down either side of you. You're quite small, though. How do you want to avoid this? You tell me.
I think I'll be just like kind of running, like Naruto style, like trying to keep my like body as low as possible. Just like beelining head first.
Okay. Let's go with some sort of dexterity check then. Acrobatics, that's dexterity, isn't it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, go for an acrobatics check.
That's an 18.
18, good enough. You just get through that triangle that they form as they begin to slam down on you, as they raise back up again, angry. Ember and Heimlich, last up.
Have I got any jazzy shits to do? I'll turn to Ember and say, good Fräulein, would you mind pulling me?
Oh.
And I'll cast Levitate on myself.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Ember will shoulder her maul and pull out her shield and try and just brute force it through.
Amazing. As you do that, you're carrying Heimlich through this storm. The rain is smattering down on you. There are waves crashing over all of you as you're doing this. The boat now almost at that 90-degree angle. Ember, you're going to be attacked twice. Okay.
I have a shield.
You're so lucky. The first in total. I mean, it's still got quite a good modifier. 14 to hit.
15.
The second misses, as that is a 12. As they thud down onto the deck, which splinters below them, you all run to this plank. One by one, you jump, Lorcan with Kato on your back, Varya following, then Dusk, then Heimlich, then Ember. You jump into the water. You feel the water surrounding you. You descend. You then fall through the air. Your fall is fast, and then it feels like you are floating to the earth. You drift slowly to the ground, falling softly through blue sky. You land at the bottom of a hill, luscious and green. You're on a gravelly but well cared for path. This path leads up to the hill, and on top of the hill there is an ancient tree. And as you look up, you see bunting above you. You see a huge billowing sign which reads, "Welcome to Fineville, where everything is fine." And we're going to go ahead and stop there. I love all your faces.
I'd just like to say at this point, Larkin is definitely thinking, I'd really like this to make some sense at some point.
Varya is enjoying the bunting.
There's a bit of bunting. Varya's going to take some of that bunting home.
Imagine walking into an adventurer's house and there's bunting on the wall of the kitchen where it says, "Welcome to Fineville, everything's fine." It'd be amazing.
I think that's good merch, actually. I feel like we should explore a merch line, a Fineville merch line.
Thank you for everyone for joining us and being part of the actual chaos that was tonight's show. If you enjoyed tonight, we play every Tuesday from 6 p.m. UK, 10 a.m. Pacific. We also play Flustered in the Feywild on Mondays, also from 6 p.m. UK, 10 a.m. Pacific. Same time on Saturdays, we have Talk Together, which is a chat show where we interview our players, DMs, and other TTRPG voices. All of our shows are streamed at twitch.tv/RollTogetherRPG, and you can find all of our content archived at youtube.com/RollTogetherRPG. There's also podcast versions of all our shows available everywhere. Just search for us. Massive thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon. There will be a link in chat now. Do join them. Every penny helps make the content that we do. Big thanks again to our sponsors Hero Forge, Ultra Pro, and Elderwood Academy. and our supporters D&D Beyond, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, Warriors of Waterdeep, and Level Up Dice. And don't forget, we are all over social media as Roll Together RPG. Thank you for watching. See you soon.